Chapter 1944. Patriarch. I found an abyss at the edge of the Netherworld battle mansion. Do you know about it? Abyss? Hearing this, the Patriarch of Hell frowned slightly as if he thought of something. Could it be the Netherworld abyss? The Patriarch could only think of this mysterious place that could interest Yi-chan. Patriarch, it's here. Do you know the origin of this place? Well, the Patriarch brought Yi-chan into the hall, and the two sat down. The Netherworld abyss existed before the Netherworld battle mansion was formed. We've explored it before, but there was no news. For many years, there was no movement in the abyss. In the end, it was sealed and forgotten by everyone. Why are you mentioning it now, fellow Yi? Sealed? I don't think the abyss was completely sealed. At that time, we did seal it completely. Could it be the Patriarch was shocked? It seemed that the abyss was automatically unsealed. Patriarch, let's go back and take a look. That's what I was thinking. Yi-chun and the Patriarch flew out and headed straight for the Netherworld abyss. The two of them arrived at the abyss. At this time, the ground was restless and demonic energy surged, soaring into the sky. Such a scene, what's underground? Seeing such a scene, the Patriarch was shocked. When he was in the Netherworld battle mansion, nothing like this had happened. This energy is demonic energy. There must be something mysterious under this abyss. Fellow Yi, what do you plan to do? I thought the Patriarch knew about this abyss and wanted to ask, but now it seems like I can only explore myself. Is it dangerous? Huh. Why should I, Yi-chun, be afraid? Ah, that's true. Fellow Yi, there's nothing to worry about. The Patriarch laughed. Yi-chun let the Patriarch take the back while he flew down the abyss. The abyss was chaotic. As Yi-chan flew down, the deeper he went, the more he felt that the rules of the surrounding environment were completely different from the outside world. Here, the pressure on the body was extremely great. At the same time, there were all kinds of strange demonic energy interference. Ordinary people would only die if they came down. If Yi-chan had not cultivated both immortality and demonic energy, it would not have been so easy. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Yi-chan continued to descend. The depth of the abyss surprised him. Although he was prepared, it was still much deeper than he expected. Boom! As Yi-chan went deeper into the ground shook and the space reverberated. The density of Pandora demon energy gradually soared. Gradually, even Yi-chan felt pressured. This was a very rare occurrence. The demonic energy here is so pure, and it even contains a strange law. What is it? Yi-chan had fought with the demonic realm, and even the people of the demonic world. He knew very well that the Pandora demon energy here was completely different from the Pandora demon energy in those people's bodies. The Pandora demon energy here was filled with absolute destructive power. It was terrifying and breathtaking. The deeper Yi-chan went, the more disturbed he felt. He quickly activated the ancient God Heart cultivation method to stabilize his spirit. Boom! Suddenly, the earth split open, and lava flew into the air. Lava! Yi-chan waved his sword fingers, and sword chi shot out. Countless lava was cut by the sword chi and fell. Phew! At this moment, the sound of heavy breathing could be heard. It was strange, drawn out, and carried a heavy pressure. Yi-chan's eyes turned slightly cold. He activated his golden pupil flame and looked around. But he didn't find anything strange, but this breathing sound was definitely real. What was it, and where was it hiding? Roar. Suddenly, a huge roar came from the deepest part of the ground, shaking the space and making Yi-chan's ears feel uncomfortable. Oomph. Yi-chan's eyes turned cold. He gathered ancient god power in his sword fingers and pointed downward. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The ancient god sword chi rushed to the bottom, its majestic power shaking the earth. Boom! The ancient god sword chi was condensed by the supreme ancient god power. The law within it was already heaven-defying, so naturally, it was not restricted by any other law. It broke through the energy protection at the bottom, and the rumble shook thousands of miles. Roar! It seemed to be heavily injured by the ancient god sword chi. The roar below became even more violent. Following that, powerful energy rushed out from the ground and attacked Yi Chun. Oh! Yi Chun smirked slightly. It seemed that his sword chi had worked. Break! One word, break. Subsequently, the space behind Yi Chun roared angrily, and the majestic power instantly shattered the lava attack. Which evil creature is it? Show yourself! Yi Chun shouted. Roar! At this time, following the loud roar, the surrounding space suddenly changed. Among the countless changes, Yi Chun finally arrived at the underground hall. Roar! At this time, the three-headed hellhound appeared in front of Yi Chun. Yi Chun was greatly shocked, thinking that he had sensed the aura of the nether purgatory. This was closely related to Su Yuhan, so how could he not be shocked? Evil creature, is this really the entrance to the nether purgatory? He ignored the danger and went forward to question. Roar! However, the three-headed hound did not respond at all. Instead, it opened its huge mouth to swallow Yi Chun. You're courting death. Yi Chun attacked angrily. With the point of his sword fingers, a sharp sword gleam slashed across. The three-headed hound was injured by the sword gleam, and blood flowed out. However, the blood seemed to have triggered the three-headed hound's murderous nature. It frantically bit at Yi Chun. Evil creature, if you don't respond, I'll crush you like an ant. The Heavenly Emperor's shadow appeared behind Yi Chun. In an instant, even the incomparably violent hellhound was intimidated. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The hellhound kept retreating as if it was very afraid of the Heavenly Emperor's shadow. Still not showing yourself? Yi Chun's eyes glowed. The golden pupil fiery eyes had already discovered that the hellhound was just an illusion and the real controller was here. Ha ha ha. At this moment, a strange and drawn-out laughter rang out. A skinny and tall monster walked out. His legs were like bamboo poles, his body was extremely slender, and his face was very repulsive. It was very strange. Who are you? How can you come to the 3,000 feet of the netherworld? This is the real 3,000 feet of the netherworld? Yi Chun asked doubtfully. If not here, where is it? Is there another 3,000 feet of the netherworld? The old man's question made Yi Chun nod slightly. Yes, he had heard that the place above was called 3,000 feet of the netherworld. It might just be a rumor. What's the relationship between the 3,000 feet of the netherworld and the nether purgatory? Nether purgatory? The old man looked at Yi Chun coldly. You actually know about the nether purgatory? How can I not know? I have a close relationship with the nether purgatory. Answer my question immediately. Yi Chun's eyes turned cold. He did not want to waste time. Why must I answer your question? The other party did not cooperate. Yi Chun was furious. This was related to Su Yuhan's current situation. He must not let any accidents happen. End of chapter. Chapter 1945. Ha ha. Young man, don't be too arrogant and conceited. This is my home ground. The old man laughed coldly, as if he was very confident in his own strength. At the same time, the surroundings changed rapidly, and the entire image of hell slowly appeared. Boundless nether energy began to occupy the space. Really, the corner of Yi Chun's lips curled up slightly as the Heavenly Emperor's silhouette appeared behind him. Boom! The light of the Heavenly Emperor illuminated the entire space. In an instant, the might of an ancient god swept out for 1,000 miles. Even the mysterious underworld energy was suppressed. This is impossible. A look of disbelief appeared on the elder's face. Just who was this young man in front of him? Why did he have such might? What was that supreme might he exuded? Before the nether prison, you have to bow your head. The patriarch was enraged. He unleashed even more powerful nether force in an attempt to completely destroy Yi Chun's martial will. However, it was all in vain. Ancient god power burst forth from Yi Chun's body. In his Vajra mode, Yi Chun was impervious to all poisons. The nether prison poison energy in the surrounding space couldn't get close to him. Gate dog, how dare you disrespect the heavens? Yi Chun's eyes released the true samadhi fire, and the surrounding space burned rapidly. The old man turned pale with fright and quickly retreated. Damn it! The old man summoned the three-headed hellhound again to attack Yi Chun. Whoosh! Yi Chun's body soared into the air instantly. The ninth heaven-trampling steps was extremely exquisite. The hellhounds could not lock onto him. Heavenly Dharch sword, universe-severing. Yi Chen's superb insight and rich experience as his Wahan allowed him to seize the opportunity and slash through the air. Boom! Kacha, kacha, kacha! Under the celestial Dharch sword, the Cerberus was shattered on the spot and turned into nothingness. The gatekeeper of the nether purgatory had never seen such a powerful force before. He had used underworld energy to observe the movements of the surrounding environment and even made a contract with someone, granting him the power of underworld runes so that he could kill everyone and become the overlord of the netherworld battle mansion. However, he was completely defeated by Yi Chen. Tell me the truth, or I'll kill you without mercy. With the heavenly emperor sword in his hand, Yi Chen looked like a heavenly emperor had descended. His majesty was so powerful that no one could stop him. The old man kept retreating, obviously shocked. This is one of Nether Prison's entrances to the spirit world. An entrance? Yi Chen kept analyzing the information in his head. How many entrances are there in Nether Prison? This old man is only in charge of the 3,000 feet entrance to the Yellow Springs. As for where the other entrances are and how many there are, I do not know either. Really? Yi Chen's eyes turned cold. The old man was terrified and knelt on the ground. It's true, it's all true. Hell dog, let me tell you, if you dare lie to me, even if it means reaching the ends of hell, I will kill you. I don't dare. The old man knelt on the ground, not daring to raise his head. Nether Prison. Su Yuhan's face appeared in Yi Chen's head. He felt a pang in his heart. Fine, I'll spare your life. Look after this place for me. If anything happens, I'll make you pay. Yes. Yi Chen turned around and flew up. On the ground, the Patriarch of Hell kept pacing. It had been a while since Yi Chen went down. During this time, he heard all sorts of strange vibrations below. He did not know what was happening and was rather anxious. Fellow Taoist Yi. The Patriarch released his psionic energy and sent his voice over 1,000 miles. Patriarch. Just as the Patriarch was worrying, a voice came from below. It was Yi Chen. Ha. I knew that with Fellow Ye's ability, any danger would be no problem. Buzz. At this moment, a stream of light flew up. It was Yi Chen. Fellow Yi, what's down there? Why'd you go down for so long? 3,000 feet of the netherworld. If it's 3,000 feet of the netherworld, what's above us? The netherworld battle mansion. Teaches. The Patriarch was a little confused, but he did not ask further. The two of them returned to the netherworld gate and were welcomed by everyone. Yi Chen understood that the Patriarch was holding a banquet. The Patriarch must be very interested in the situation below. Moreover, Yu Wuxuan was also curious. Fellow Yi, tell us what you saw down there. The Patriarch said with a smile. All right, I'll tell you. Yi Chen told them about the various situations down there. The Patriarch and Yi Wuxuan were amazed. I didn't expect the real 3,000 feet of the netherworld to be under the netherworld battle mansion. Moreover, it seems that Taoist Northming's strength is due to this hell dog. Smart. This hell dog controls nether energy and could draw nether runes. Previously, I thought that Taoist Northming used demonic runes, but now that I think about it, it should be nether energy disguised as demonic energy. Is this nether energy really so magical? That's right. There are many differences between the might of the netherworld purgatory and demonic energy, but nether energy is more mysterious and unpredictable. Fellow Yi, now that we've found the entrance to the netherworld purgatory, are you going to look for... Naturally, the Patriarch knew who Yi Chen was concerned about. Patriarch, you should understand that I must find Yuhan. Otherwise, I'll regret it for the rest of my life. Sai, I know you're an infatuated person. I'll definitely support you. The Patriarch raised his cup. Yi Chen nodded slightly and drank it in one gulp. Just as everyone was drinking, a loud bang suddenly came from outside the netherworld gate, shaking it. Yi Chen's gaze traveled 1,000 miles as he looked outside. He saw many powerhouses gathering in the sky. They did not seem to be targeting the netherworld gate, but the entire netherworld battle mansion. Evil creatures of the Netherworld Battle Mansion, come out. The loud bang shook the area within 100 miles. Instantly, countless forces of the Netherworld Battle Mansion were alarmed. Who's so arrogant? You're courting death. Die. The powerhouses of the Netherworld Battle Mansion appeared one after another. They still did not know who dared to be arrogant in front of the Battle Mansion. Yi Chun, the Patriarch, and the rest also flew out. High up in the sky, a sword boat floated in the sky. Yi Chun glanced over and saw several powerhouses, all of them peak conjoint body cultivators. Who are you? How dare you cause trouble in the land of the Netherworld? As the representative of the Netherworld Battle Mansion, the Patriarch flew up and faced the newcomers. Ha ha! The Netherworld Battle Mansion is a place of thieves and thieves. It's a chaotic place. Today, I'll kill all of you and make a name for myself. Everyone was shocked when they heard that. Make a name for yourself? Ha ha ha! I think you should be buried here first. The Patriarch laughed maniacally and shouted at the person in the sky. Ignorant, independent cultivator, how dare you oppose me? Die. The person attacked directly with a sword ray. Clang! Just when the sword ray was about to touch the Patriarch, Yi Chun waved casually, and the sword ray shattered. You're from the Ling Emperor Palace? Yi Chun asked. The Ling Emperor Palace? Haha, they're not qualified. Oh, Yi Chun's interest was piqued. In the spiritual realm, which force was more powerful than the Ling Emperor Palace? End of this chapter. Chapter 1946. Who are you? How dare you destroy my Acheron sect? The Patriarch glared at the person in the sky and questioned. You don't even know the true spirit hall, and you dare to stand in the spiritual realm? Damn it! The person in front swept his energy toward the Patriarch. Underworld Sword. The Patriarch was furious. Sword energy shot out, and the Underworld Sword gleam swept in all directions. However, the person in front of him used some kind of divine ability and withdrew his hands. The Patriarch's sword energy dissipated in the air. The Patriarch was shocked and frowned. Patriarch, you can't. At this moment, the Netherworld sect leader, the Netherworld Taoist, walked forward and said anxiously, What do you mean? The Patriarch asked. These people are from the true Spirit Hall, which is the true ruler of the spiritual realm. Even the Ling Emperor Palace is under their control. What? The Patriarch was shocked. No wonder these people were so arrogant. They had such information. The Patriarch was also new to the things that happened after the Patriarch's death. Naturally, he did not know about it. Patriarch Netherworld, kneel and submit now. Otherwise, your Netherworld sect will be destroyed. The person who came was high and mighty. He instantly knew the identity of the Patriarch Netherworld. He must have come prepared. Yi Chun looked at the sky and pondered. These people might have come to subdue the Netherworld sect, because that would be equivalent to subduing the entire Netherworld Battle Mansion. It was unknown if they had other goals. After all, a powerful force like the True Spirit Hall should not be interested in a place like the Netherworld Battle Mansion. How did the Netherworld Battle Mansion offend you? Why do you want me to submit? Your existence is a sin. Unless you have the permission of the True Spirit, no one has the right to live in the spiritual realm. You are so arrogant. That's right. What do you think? Seeing that the person before him was extremely arrogant and did not give him any leeway, the Patriarch was furious. After all, he had followed Yi Chun for a long time. He still had some pride in him. He could not tolerate such humiliation. Kill. The Patriarch moved, and the sword energy rose again. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The person in the air with the Netherworld sword energy. Small tricks. However, that person was not afraid at all. He retracted his hands once more, and the old ancestor's sacred art disappeared. The two failures had placed the old ancestor in a predicament, and he had no idea how the young man before him had managed to do it. After all, the young man's cultivation was only a conjoint body realm consummation. While it wasn't too low, it was still a significant advantage over the old ancestor in terms of cultivation. However, just how in the world did the young man manage to dispel the sword chi so easily? Yi Chun's eyes were sharp as he observed the man's movements. I see. Soon, Yi Chun saw the truth. It was because of the magic weapon in that person's hand. Most people would not notice it, but Yi Chun did. There was a pair of jade slips between the man's hands. The patriarch's sword chi was absorbed by the jade slips. Ah, old ancestor Yellow Spring, you're just so. That person began to mock the ancestor. This made the old ancestor furious. As someone who had undergone tribulation, it was a great humiliation for him to be unable to fight against someone at the body integration realm. Ancestor, this person has a trick. Why are you sighing? Fellow Yi, what do you mean by this? You will understand immediately. Yi Chun walked to the front and faced the expert. Ha, is it your turn? What's the difference? That person was high and mighty, mocking Yi Chun. In his opinion, Yi Chun's cultivation base was inferior to the old ancestor Yellow Spring, so he could easily kill him. Ant, you won by trickery. I'll show you your true colors. Yi Chun replied coldly. Ha, damn it. That person laughed a few times at first, then revealed a ferocious expression and shouted loudly. Yi Chun's figure flew up and soon sensed that there were more powerhouses hidden in the fog behind this person. Those people's cultivation base was far above this person's. It was obvious that this person was just a cover. Sword raging waves. Yi Chun waved his sword fingers, and wild waves rose. Strong waves rushed toward that person. Withdraw. That person felt the powerful sword chi. Following the previous method, he retracted his hands, trying to eliminate Yi Chun's sword chi. Rumble. However, he had miscalculated this time because Yi Chun's sword chi was like a raging wave crashing against the shore. It was endless and contained the ancient god's life rule. That person kept absorbing the power of the sword chi, but the sword chi was so powerful, vigorous, and endless that the person gradually revealed a look of fear. It's impossible. He kept shouting. The sword chi kept entering his hands and was absorbed by the jade piece. However, as Yi Chun's sword chi continued to be produced, the vigorous power hit the jade piece, and the jade piece could no longer bear the weight. Kacha. Finally, the jade piece broke and energy exploded. That person was the first to bear the brunt. Boom. The powerful sword chi not only contained Yi Chun's power, but also the patriarch's two previous attacks. Protect. That person quickly activated the shield to escape, but the shield was instantly broken by Yi Chun's sword chi. Then, the patriarch's underworld sword chi came for his life. Without the protection of the jade piece, the underworld sword chi was invincible. Swoosh. Two sword rays slashed across. That person's eyes widened as if he could not believe it. However, his head rolled to the ground. Great. Senior Yi is mighty. Patriarch is mighty. Such a situation instantly stirred everyone's emotions. They all shouted Yi Chun's and the patriarch's names. It's not over yet. Just when everyone was pleasantly surprised, Yi Chun's cold voice stunned them. Rumble. Before they could react, thunder rumbled in the sky, and the wind and clouds surged. Behind the wind and clouds, a group of people appeared. The aura of these people was clearly stronger than the previous people. Amidst the wind and clouds, a carriage appeared. No one knew who was sitting in the carriage, but the vigorous pressure made many people from the underworld sect kneel on the ground, and some even spit blood. Blood splattered, and the internal energy dissipated. Everyone was in danger. The patriarch was shocked. He also felt his heart was in chaos. His meridians were rushing in the opposite direction, and he was in unbearable pain. Yi Chun had the ancient god body. It was difficult for any power to invade him, so he was not threatened. Who's there? Show yourself. He flew up and pointed his sword at the carriage. Yi Chun wanted the person to show himself. Buzz. Just when Yi Chun's sword chi was about to arrive, a strong light shot out from the carriage. Rumble. The light collided with Yi Chun's sword chi, and a loud bang shook 100 miles around. Very good. A voice came from the carriage. It was a woman's voice, cold and calm. Yi Chun's eyes were sharp as he looked at the carriage. He activated the golden pupil-fiery eyes and saw through the carriage. He saw a beautiful woman sitting inside. You're Yi-chun. End of this chapter. Chapter 1947. Yi-chun did not expect them to call out his name. He realized that these people might be here for him. That's me. What can I do for you? Yi-chun looked at the carriage and asked. Spirit Emperor has already told me about you. The true Spirit Palace needs your cooperation. It really is that, old man. To be able to confront Spirit Emperor head-on, you're indeed extraordinary. This time, the true Spirit Palace needs your cooperation. Cooperate? What do you want? In that case, a restless person like you must have discovered the secret of the 3,000 Zhang Yellow Springs, right? Hearing this, Yi-chun pondered. This person was most likely referring to the entrance to the underworld. However, the underworld was related to Su Yuhan's search, so Yi-chun did not want to cause unnecessary trouble. Secret? What secret? Yi-chun did not admit it. Instead, he was testing him. Don't waste time, Yi-chun. Netherworld. Yi-chun had no room to compromise since the other party had mentioned the underworld directly. You want to enter the Netherworld? Not bad. I don't want to cooperate with you. Leave now. Yi-chun said coldly. Send them off. Hearing Yi-chun's bluntness, the disciples of Netherworld were stunned. Their hearts trembled as they wondered if Yi-chun was being too arrogant. The person before them was from the true Spirit Palace, a supreme existence in the spiritual realm. No one dared to speak to the true Spirit Palace's messenger like that. The Netherworld Taoist master stepped forward and whispered to the Patriarch of Netherworld, hoping that the Patriarch could stop Yi-chun from angering the messenger. Otherwise, the Netherworld sect might be destroyed. Trash like you dares to criticize fellow Ye's actions? This Taoist Master Huang Quan did not expect the Patriarch of Hell to be on Yi-chun's side. He was terrified. High up in the sky, Yi-chun was still confronting the carriage. Yi-chun, I advise you be careful with your words and actions. Otherwise, you'll never find your wife. What did you say? Yi-chun was shocked. He did not expect the man to say something like that. Did he really know about Su Yuhan's existence? Su Yuhan. The name made Yi-chun's heart skip a beat. I also want you to watch your words and actions. Otherwise, the cold sword will be merciless. Ha! The woman burst out laughing. Yi-chun, the fact that we were able to find you means that we know enough about you. Do you really think that we only know what Ling Huang told us? We know you very well. You have to understand that only by cooperating with us to enter the Netherworld will you have any hope of finding your wife. There was killing intent in Yi-chun's eyes, but he suppressed his rage. This concerns Su Yuhan, so he must not be careless. Tell me your purpose. Otherwise, I won't be able to comply. As for the purpose, the Lord of True Spirit wants to open the passage between the spirit realm and the Netherworld to find the heart of the son of the underworld. Heart of Nether's son? Yi-chun had never heard of such a thing, but it sounded like some kind of powerful treasure. That's right. As long as you help us find it, we will let you meet your wife. How can I trust you? Look at this. Suddenly, the space in front of him trembled and a jade pendant appeared. Yi-chun was shocked. Su Yuhan's powerful aura was released from the jade pendant. This is impossible. He kept telling himself to restrain himself, but he could not help but feel excited when he sensed the aura. Could it be that the other party really knew where Su Yuhan was? Yi-chun seemed to have no choice under the impact of so much information. In order to find Su Yuhan, he had to cooperate with the person before him. Yi-chun clenched his fist, and the jade pendant fell into his hand instantly. This is my master's sincerity to you. I hope you won't let my master down. We'll begin our journey to the Netherworld in 3 days. With that, the carriage slowly disappeared into the clouds. Seeing the carriage disappear, the powerhouses from the Acheron sect heaved a sigh of relief. To them, Yi-chun charging into the Lord of True Spirit was an extremely dangerous move. Fellow Yi, what's going on? The Patriarch asked. Yi-chun fell silent and put away the jade pendant. Patriarch, I'm going to the True Spirit Palace. I'll leave Wushuang to you. No way. Let's go together. No need. It's more convenient for me to move alone. Seeing the determination in Yi-chun's eyes, The patriarch could only nod. Subsequently, Yi-Chen flew out. Relying on the aura left behind by the carriage, Yi-Chen followed it all the way and soon arrived at the true spirit palace. Before him was an endless mountain. The peak of the mountain was shrouded in clouds and mist. Nothing could be seen clearly. Yi-Chen looked at a stone path below. It was called the Spirit Ascension Staircase. Buzz, buzz. Sensing the changes in his surroundings, Yi-Chen realized that the Spirit Ascension Staircase was the only way to go above the 9 heavens. Go! Yi-Chen flew up and stepped into the Spirit Ascension Staircase. Young man, you can't. At that moment, a woodsman suddenly appeared 100 meters away from the path and kept trying to persuade Yi-Chen. Yi-Chen looked over. The man was burly and his steps were vigorous. There was a faint aura of a tiger's roar. Sir, what do you mean? The Spirit Ascension Staircase is the road to hell. You can't turn back after entering it. Oh, Yi-Chen smirked coldly. Then, do you have any way to go to the True Spirit Palace? The True Spirit Palace. You're going to the True Spirit Palace? That's right. The True Spirit Palace is the gate to hell. You'll definitely die if you go there. Yi-Chen's eyes turned slightly cold. Who are you, demon? Show yourself. Yi-Chen released the true samadhi fire from his eyes after threatening the man before him. How dare you attack an old woodsman like me? You have no morals. The old man was shocked. He did not expect Yi-Chen to attack him directly, so he retreated immediately. As he retreated, his body moved in a flash. It was clear that he was using a movement technique. Old woodsman, it's easy to hide, but hard to paint. The man had nowhere to hide under the true samadhi fire, so he revealed himself immediately. I can't believe you saw through me. Damn it. The man was enraged when his identity was exposed. A piece of trash like you wants to enter the True Spirit Palace. What a joke. Dying here is where you belong. Oh, Yi-Chen's eyes gleamed coldly. He had wasted too much time here. Buzz, buzz. He released a sword finger slightly, and a majestic energy gathered on the tip of his finger. He aimed it at the man. Die. The man roared. Countless flying daggers appeared in his hand. He activated his energy and threw them at Yi-Chen in a frenzy. Yi-Chen stood where he was without moving. His behavior made the man frown in confusion. Clang, clang, clang. The next scene shocked the man. Countless flying daggers attacked Yi-Chen's body, but they could not hurt him at all. They fell as if they were hitting steel. What? The man was shocked and wanted to run. It's too late. Chapter 1948. Yi-Chen activated his divine telekinesis, and the flying dagger swept past. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The man fell to the ground with a thud. Yi-Chen looked at the peak and sneered in his heart. He knew that the man might already know that he was here and he would encounter more difficulties. This might be a test or a trick, but it did not matter. He would reach the highest peak and see the person he wanted to see. After the man was killed, the Spirit Ascension Step seemed to have received instructions and glowed automatically. A door appeared in front of him. Yi-Chen walked through the door without hesitation. Entering the door was the real Spirit Ascension Step. Every step here had become extremely mysterious, containing immense power and laws. Thud, thud, thud. Every step Yi-Chen took felt like his feet were weighed down by thousands of tons. It was very difficult to move, and it consumed a lot of energy. If this went on, it would consume too much energy. He had to find the right way to move forward. Yi-Chen stopped and began to carefully sense the internal structure of the stone steps and the changes in the surrounding environment. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Everything before him appeared in a light screen. This light screen was located in the True Spirit Hall. Many people looked at the scene before them and smiled from time to time. That's it. One of the powerhouses revealed a look of disdain. The outermost Spirit Ascension Step is already blocking his way. He wants to enter the True Spirit Hall? Wishful thinking. Don't worry. He might be thinking of a way to move forward easily. Another powerhouse said, Haha, what about the future? He has nowhere to hide on the Spirit Ascension Step. He's at most a suffering stage cultivator. He's not qualified to meet the Spirit Lord. It's already very impressive for him to have a suffering stage cultivation base at such a young age and ascended from the spirit stage. Ling Jun, you seem to value this person very much. Ling Hua, the Spirit Lord values this person very much. Are you questioning the Spirit Lord's judgment? Don't use the Spirit Lord to pressure me. I just don't think this kid can do it. Just as the two were arguing, a powerful aura swept across the place. On the throne, a ball of spiritual light appeared. It was the Spirit Lord. Welcome, Spirit Lord. At this moment, everyone in the hall bowed. He's here. The Spirit Lord spoke. At this moment, within the light screen, Yi Chun was still sitting cross-legged and adjusting his chi, searching for a way out of the predicament before him. Spirit Lord, could it be that this person is the one we're going to work with? The Spirit asked. That's right. He's Yi Chun, the one who fought Ling Huang head-on. Can he fight against Emperor Ling? Ling Han was very doubtful about this. Don't be fooled by his appearance. This person is unfathomable and definitely has some background. The energy aura on his body is extremely complex and chaotic. We can't ignore it. Lord Spirit Lord, why don't you let me meet this person personally? Ling Hun, don't regret this. Regret? Him? Ling Hun laughed out loud and disappeared. On the Spirit Ascension step, Yi Chun continued to sense the aura and rules in the surrounding space. Through the analysis of the abnormal space in his mind, he had already obtained a preliminary result. There was a hidden power within the Spirit Ascension steps. This power was completely different from what he had encountered before. This power contained a powerful law that could only be reached by an immortal. In other words, there must be an immortal in the true Spirit Palace. Immortal method? Yi Chen's interest was piqued. He had ascended to the Ascension stage. The next step was to advance to the itinerant immortal stage. Although he had countless great down knowledge in his heart, it was very difficult to quickly break through to the itinerant immortal stage without practice. Now, the Spirit Ascension step was giving him this opportunity. The great have no outside, the small have no inside. Suddenly, Yi Chen opened his eyes and condensed his divine telekinesis. He turned into a light and flew directly into the stone steps. Inside the stone steps, light flickered like the environment. Waves of energy flew around, constantly operating according to the established rules. Yi Chen's entry instantly caused chaos. The operating energy stopped in its tracks and turned to point at Yi Chun. Zap, zap, zap. At this moment, the immortal method, law condensed, and divine telekinesis appeared. Who dares to break into my divine telekinesis realm? The voice was light with a hint of cynicism, which piqued Yi Chen's interest. It's me. Yi Chen jumped out and shouted at the person. A young brat. How dare you anger me? So what if you're an immortal? In my eyes, you're just an ant. Yi Chen indeed had the right to say that. When he was the heavenly emperor, he could kill millions of immortals with a sneeze. How arrogant. However, those words completely infuriated the immortal. He waved the horsetail whisk in his hand, and countless energy rushed at Yi Chun. Yi Chun guided the divine thunder of tribulation to surround his body. Subsequently, the divine power appeared, shocking heaven and earth. Rushing thunder palm of the ninth heaven. Zap, zap, zap. The powerful divine thunder swam around, instantly destroying the energy that was attacking him. Boom, boom, boom. Seeing that his attack was broken instantly, the immortal's divine telekinesis was shocked. He could also see that Yi Chun was also using divine telekinesis to sneak into the stone steps. It did not make sense that Yi Chun could resist his attack. How is it? Yi Chun asked. You're quite capable. However, you're far from being able to fight me in my barrier with your puny cultivation base of the tribulation stage. The immortal scoffed and waved the horsetail whisk in his hand again. As he waved the horsetail whisk this time, waves of immortal techniques consolidated. Although it was the same divine power, immortal techniques were completely different from ordinary spirit techniques. It was a qualitative leap. Meanwhile, Yi Chun valued such immortal technique training. Heavenly Emperor's Sword. The shape of the Heavenly Emperor's Sword appeared above Yi Chen's head. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The moment the sword spirit appeared, endless sword chi rushed into the sky, sweeping in all directions and shaking everything. It was incomparably powerful. Boom, boom, boom. Ichin did not back down even when he was facing an immortal technique. The sword chi eliminated the immortal technique's sharpness. Subsequently, he entered the immortal technique's attacking barrier. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Yichen's body kept dodging the immortal technique's attacks at first, which made the immortal look down on him. Oof, it's just dodging. What's so special about that? Brat, you're definitely going to lose this time. Really? Just when the immortal thought that Yi Chen's divine telekinesis was going to be destroyed, the corner of Yi Chen's lips curled up slightly. It turned out that he had already familiarized himself with the immortal technique's special rules through the previous few battles. Roar! With a furious roar, the space-time raging dragon appeared. Subsequently, the endless immortal techniques were all devoured by the raging dragon. What? The immortal was shocked. He could not imagine what a person's divine telekinesis was trying to do by absorbing so many immortal techniques. Was this not courting death? End of this chapter. Chapter 1949. Originally, those who were undergoing the heavenly ascension ordeal would die, without a doubt, if they absorbed the immortal technique. However, Yichun was different. The key was the ancient god body. Since Yichun had cultivated the ancient god space, all these immortal spells entered the ancient god space. The ancient god space was like an omnipotent buffer zone. No matter what kind of energy entered it, it would not explode. This was due to the suppression of the ancient gods' godheads. Countless immortal spells entered Yi Chen's ancient god space. Subsequently, he refined and comprehended them through the energy of the alternate dimension. This was one of Yi Chen's methods of breaking immortal methods by force. Impossible. What did you do? These scenes were incomprehensible to immortals. Even if it was a true itinerant immortal, it would be extremely dangerous for them to crazily absorb immortal spells that they were not familiar with, let alone a person who was undergoing tribulation. How can a mere celestial art affect a heavenly emperor? Sky Emperor? Have you gone mad? The immortal shook his head slightly when he saw how crazy Yichun was. Then, he activated the immortal technique prison to trap Yichun. Since I've come to this celestial world, I'll stay here. Immortal guides the way. The immortal released the might of his immortal method and surrounded Yichun continuously. His body was controlled by the immortal method, and he could not move at all. Meanwhile, Yichun had no intention of doing anything. His main focus was on cracking the immortal method. Relying on the memories of his past life and his powerful mind power, Yichun fell into a trance. Although his immortal technique prison was successfully established, the immortal sensed that things were not as simple as they seemed. This was because Yichun did not resist at all. Instead, he went with the flow and allowed the prison to automatically form. With so many incomprehensible things happening at the same time, as a loose immortal spiritual sense, he was at a loss as to what to do. How strange. Since that's the case, I won't waste my breath on you. Die. As a stone stare immortal's spiritual will, his role was to defend against these people who had entered the spirit ascension stare. ZZZ. The immortal activated the spirit ascension immortal method and turned it into a sharp sword that charged at Yichun. At the critical moment, Yichen's eyes suddenly shone with an immortal spirit light. Break! With a crack, Yichen's entire body emitted a pure immortal glow, immediately counteracting the surrounding immortal technique prison. Ancient God Break. After comprehending the surrounding immortal methods, Yichun unleashed his ancient god power and shattered all the immortal method cages on the spot. Boom, boom, boom. Kacha, kacha, kacha. As the immortal spell laws were shattered, the prison disappeared. Yichun stretched out his hand and caught the immortal sword in front of him with a clang. What? He had never seen such a domineering person before. In his eyes, there was an insurmountable gap between the tribulation realm and the rogue immortal realm. However, the person in front of him could actually absorb immortal arts in such a short time, comprehend immortal arts, and even break immortal arts. He was simply a celestial being. Impossible. What kind of magic did you use? The immortal was confused and shocked by Yi Chun. He could only think that Yi Chun had used some strange magic. Ah, do I need it? Yi Chun scoffed and raised his right hand high. Subsequently, countless immortal lights gathered on his right hand. Isn't this your immortal sword? I'll return it to you now. At the same time, he activated the ancient god power in his left hand. Z. As the two powerful forces condensed, the immortal spiritual consciousness felt the threat of destruction for the first time. Damn it! The immortal's divine consciousness roared in rage. Subsequently, he guided the endless immortal power in the spirit ascension step to kill Yi Chun. With a roar, the supreme immortal was forced to use his ultimate power by Yi Chun. He directly shattered his divine consciousness and turned it into a protective force. He wanted to die with Yi Chun. After all, the immortal's divine consciousness had been bound by death rule. It was to protect the spirit ascension step and even sacrifice itself. After all, it was just a strand of divine consciousness. Rumble. In the world of the spirit ascension step, the immortal's figure became incomparably tall. His power had already merged with the spirit ascension step. Ha, kid. No matter what kind of monstrous talent you have or what other tricks you have, it's useless. I'll die with you this time. It's already an unparalleled honor for you to make me do this. Die. Unparalleled honor? That's just an evaluation of your shallow vision. I'll let you see how insignificant you are. The shadow of the heavenly emperor appeared behind Yi Chun again. At the same time, the sword of immortal light in his hand condensed to its peak form. This was the ultimate result of Yi Chun absorbing and comprehending countless immortal arts. It was also the limit of this kind of immortal art. Chaotic immortal light, world of sword spirit. Rumble. Yi Chun flew up to the sky and faced the immortal's enormous figure. Go to hell. Kill. The immortal consolidated the most lethal immortal sword at the same time and aimed it at Yi Chun. The ultimate powers of both sides exploded in the sky and clashed. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The immortal swords clashed with each other, and a stalemate appeared in the sky. What? Yi Chun's power shocked the immortal again. He had already shattered his own divine consciousness and relied on the power of the spirit ascension step to fight the brat before him. But he still could not kill him on the spot. This was a great humiliation to him. He was an itinerant immortal's divine consciousness. It should be extremely easy for him to kill someone at the tribulation level. How did things become like this? What exactly went wrong? He could not give himself a satisfactory explanation. At that moment, Yi Chun's ancient god power suddenly exploded. This was the power condensed by the supreme rule above immortal arts. It was not something the immortal's divine consciousness could resist at all. Rumble. The ancient god power completely shattered the immortal's judgment sword. Kacha, kacha, kacha. As the judgment sword shattered, the ancient god power turned into a stream of light and pierced the immortal's huge head. The immortal revealed an expression of disbelief, but he already knew that he had been hit by an irreversible divine power. The wound on his head began to expand and extend. Kacha, kacha, kacha. Finally, his huge body shattered and turned into nothingness. Hiss, hiss, hiss. At this moment, after the body disappeared, the immortal's energy turned into a spiritual core and appeared in the air. Wrath, roar. The space-time wrath opened its mouth and directly swallowed the spiritual core. Subsequently, in the ancient god space, Yi Chun quickly refined the spiritual core into pure immortal power and stored it. Hiss, hiss, hiss. As the immortal's divine consciousness failed, Yi Chun returned to the outside world. He continued to move forward. All of this was seen by the people in the True Spirit Palace. This is unbelievable. How can this person directly absorb immortal arts? This goes against common sense. Ling Jun frowned and kept shaking his head. Someone who can communicate with the Lord of the Underworld must not be an ordinary person. The Spirit Lord said, "You're right, Spirit Lord. However, such an unusual person might cause trouble." Ling Jun, Don't you believe in my ability? I wouldn't dare. Ling Jun retreated and continued to watch the screen. At that moment, Ling Jun had reached the spirit ascension step. Standing on a high mountain peak, Ling Jun's cold eyes locked onto Yi Chun. Chapter 1950. Brat, don't think that you can be arrogant just because you've cracked the secret of the spirit ascension stage. You're still an ant before me. Ling Hun was high above as if he was the judge, looking down at those who were being judged. Yi Chun lifted his head slightly and saw Ling Hun. Do you know the consequences of stopping me? Consequences? Ha ha. You're asking me the consequences of stopping you? All right, since you asked, I'll tell you. The consequences of stopping you are death. Yi Chun's eyes turned cold when he heard that. Flames shot into Ling Hun. Sensing that the flames were not simple, Ling Hun frowned and released powerful spiritual power from his hands. Rumble. The flames and spiritual power collided, emitting a dazzling glow in the air. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Eventually, the flames and spiritual power dissipated at the same time. Although it did not seem like much on the surface, Ling Hun was shocked. The energy he had just unleashed could have instantly killed a person in the crossing calamity realm, but the person in front of him was completely fine. His spiritual energy was completely devoured and shattered by the fire. This kind of ability shouldn't belong to a person in the crossing calamity realm. Who exactly are you? Ling Hun questioned. Didn't your master tell you who I am? Yi Chun knew very well that the fact that Ling Hun could find him in the 3,000 feet netherworld meant that they had a certain understanding of him. You shocked the entire spirit realm back then. You then ascended to the spirit realm and caused the spirit emperor to fail. You're indeed extraordinary. However, in my eyes, you're nothing. You're not qualified to meet the spirit master. Why are there so many mediocre people in the world who think they're right, but they don't know that they're all trash that disturbs people's peace? Ling Hun was furious, his face twisted. How dare a mere tribulation ascension talk to him like that? As the protector of the true spirit palace, countless experts at the completion of the crossing calamity realm had to respect him. However, the man in front of him, who had just entered the crossing calamity realm, was so arrogant. This was a great challenge to Ling Hun's martial arts dignity. Brat, you've angered me. Die. Ling Hun's palms were filled with powerful energy as he attacked with an immortal method. 3 tribulation scattered immortal. Yi Chun looked at Ling Hun coldly. He could tell that Ling Hun's cultivation base was a 3 tribulation scattered immortal. Break. With a break, Yi Chun pointed his sword finger forward. All of a sudden, the immortal method rules that he had absorbed and refined in the spirit ascension stage were released. They turned into sharp swords and charged forward. Boom! Yi Chun's sword gleam and Ling Hun's fist gleam collided, producing a deafening rumble. At the same time, immortal techniques exploded, shaking the land around them. The surrounding mountains and ancient trees were shattered, turning into smoke and dust that spread for thousands of miles. Ling Hun's eyes widened. He was truly shocked this time. How are you able to use immortal spells? That was his biggest doubt. It was impossible for a mere ascension stage person to have the foundation to use immortal methods. If he forced himself to use it, he would explode and die. However, Yi Chun used immortal methods with ease, and his body did not show signs of overloading. Moreover, it was impossible for a tribulation stage person to have the spiritual power to comprehend immortal methods. What technique did Yi Chun use to comprehend them? Ling Hun was filled with doubts. At that moment, he became cautious toward Yi Chun. You're shocked by just this? Where did the domineering attitude from before go? How laughable. Yi Chun's mocking words made Ling Hun feel ashamed. D*M. He clenched his teeth. His immortal technique attack was broken by Yi Chun. Now, he had to take revenge. Die! For his martial Dao dignity and the true spirit palace's reputation, Ling Hun attacked again. This time, his entire body was channeling immortal methods. The surrounding space was affected, and the immortal technique rule extended rapidly, trying to trap Yi Chun in his immortal technique rule. Trap you. Yi Chun did not move, and stood where he was. His behavior was even more shocking. "You're too careless. Brat, you must die." Ling Hun still felt that Yi Chun did not respect his dignity. However, to him, Yi Chun's behavior was extremely stupid. As long as his immortal technique rule finished channeling, Yi Chun would completely lose the chance to fight back. Spiritual prison. Immortal spirit shackle. Zap, zap, zap. Ling Hun released the immortal spirit shackle. Countless immortal technique rules in the surrounding space attacked Yi Chun, turning into chains and imprisoning him. Facing the immortal spirit shackle that was madly entangling him like a venomous python, Yi Chun crossed his arms and stood where he was as if nothing had happened. "Have you locked it?" Yi Chun asked impatiently when he saw Ling Hun continuously releasing the power of immortal techniques. Ling Hun was humiliated again. The rage in his heart burned, and he was even more determined to kill Yi Chun. "Wait for your death," he responded angrily. "Haha, don't regret it." Yi Chun sneered. He was ready for the most violent counterattack. "Yi Chun, you've completely lost your life now. You didn't dodge my immortal spirit shackle, but took it head on. What an idiot. Die." Seeing that Yi Chun was trapped by the immortal spirit shackle, Ling Hun flew up and took out the immortal sword of judgment. Zap, zap, zap. Immortal power condensed into a sharp sword and aimed at Yi Chun. "Yi Chun, accept my judgment. Come on." Yi Chun locked his eyes on the opponent before him and shouted, "Kill." Ling Hun took out the immortal sword of judgment and aimed at Yi Chun's vital point. Such a dangerous situation was a way for Yi Chun to train his ancient god power. Only the most dangerous environment could force out the potential of the ancient godhead. Zap, zap, zap. In a desperate situation, an eternal star suddenly appeared between Yi Chun's brows. It was like a third eye with supreme majesty. This is the power of a one-star ancient god. Yi Chun was extremely excited. As the star power condensed, the ancient god silhouette appeared behind Yi Chun. Sensing the immortal spirit shackle around him, the ancient god was furious. Zap, zap, zap. He opened his eyes, and the starlight shone for thousands of miles, shooting up to the sky. Roar. Following the ancient god's rage, the most violent energy rushed out of Yi Chun's meridians. Rumble. The immortal spirit shackle around him kept shaking, showing signs of breaking. Impossible. Looking at the shocking scene before him, Ling Hun was shocked. He was shocked by the ancient god's majesty. No. A hint of fear could be seen in his eyes. As a third tribulation bodiless celestial, he felt that his dignity had suffered a great blow. However, the mental suppression from the ancient god was inviolable. It was like the will of the heavens. "Ling Hun, die," Yi Chun said coldly. With the support of the ancient god power, his voice became extremely powerful and heavy. It was like a mountain pressing down on him, becoming the last straw that broke Ling Hun's back. Chapter 1951. Under the immense pressure, the spirit's soul fell into a predicament. The pressure from the ancient god's might made his soul tremble. However, as a three tribulations scattered immortal, his martial Tao dignity told him that he could not give in. Otherwise, he would become a complete joke. The true spirit palace was the gathering place of the strongest powerhouses in the spiritual realm. Every ordinary powerhouse here could become an elder or even a grand elder of other major forces in the spiritual realm. However, what was the point of him giving in to someone who was going through ascension? He fell into a dilemma and sunk into despair. All of this was seen by the powerhouses in the true spirit palace through the screen. I didn't expect the spirit soul to be suppressed by Yi Chun as a three tribulations scattered immortal. That's right. What's going on? It shouldn't be like this. Isn't this Yi Chun too strange? Spirit Lord, is this why you value him so much? Many powerhouses asked. The Spirit Lord looked at the scene on the screen with a satisfied smile. Yi Chun was the key to opening the underworld. At the very least, he could be the one to lead them into the underworld. So, don't underestimate any opponent. Even if their cultivation base is lower than yours, you don't know what trump cards they have. Yes. Everyone nodded. At this moment, the spirit soul was being suppressed by the ancient god's might on the spirit ascension step. There was only the image of the heavenly emperor in his mind. That terrifying, majestic feeling made him feel like he had fallen into the void of the universe. Spirit soul, accept your death. A powerful voice came. The spirit soul felt the murderous intent spinning in his mind. It jumped and jumped, trying to cut his mind. It was too terrifying. Ugh. The spirit soul was already on the verge of madness under the influence of Yi Chen's spiritual might. Immortal method, tranquility. At the moment of crisis, the spirit soul released the immortal method and began to forcibly stabilize his mind. However, at this moment, Yi Chen's sword energy had already arrived. Rumble. The sword energy was like a mountain pressing down on him. Immortal method, break. The spirit soul felt the threat of death. As an itinerant immortal, he did not die in the tribulation. If he died in the hands of someone who was going through ascension, it would be a huge joke. Clang, clang, clang. The counterforce unleashed by the spirit and the might of Yi Chen's heavenly sword continuously clashed in the sky. Immortal spells and divine power clashed with each other, causing countless sparks to appear. The powerful shockwaves caused the surrounding space to shatter. It was as if doomsday had arrived. The might of an ancient god surpassed the limits of an immortal art and continuously destroyed the laws of the immortal art. In the end, the immortal art had no choice but to yield. Clang! Ling Hun knelt on one knee, almost unable to raise his head. Ha ha ha! Yi Chen's domineering laughter swept through the entire place, causing Ling Hun to tremble all over, feeling extremely ashamed. Kill! Sending out another slash of sword chi, Ling Hun widened his eyes, as though he could feel his doomsday. Z. At that moment, a palm energy suddenly shot out of thin air. It was extremely powerful and hit Yi Chen's absolute kill sword chi. Kacha, kacha, kacha. The sword chi shattered, and at the same time, the palm energy dissipated. Yi Chen, if you want to see me come. Huh? Yi Chen scoffed and glanced at the spirit next to him in disdain. The spirit was still in the psyche shock and could not walk out immediately. Yi Chen flew up and arrived at the peak of the true spirit peak through the spirit ascension step. The environment here was completely different. Countless immortal winds and clouds floated in the sky. The air was fresh and spiritual energy was abundant. It was like a magnificent scenery that people yearned for. As Yi Chen walked in this environment, his body naturally absorbed the spiritual energy to replenish his power. Soon, he felt that his body was relaxed, and the energy that he had exhausted earlier was completely replenished. Spirit Lord, Yi Chen shouted at the sky. The majestic sound of thunder filled the sky and reached the true spirit hall. Yi Chen, you don't have to be too nervous. What I need is cooperation. Cooperation? Huh? You want me to be your tool? You're wrong. I think you want to go to the underworld more than I do. Yi Chen's eyes turned cold. It seemed like Ling Hun had a comprehensive grasp of his information. He might have even sent people to Earth to investigate him. How much have you investigated me? Don't doubt my sincerity. I've only done the most basic investigation. I'll only say one name, Su Yuhan. Tell me your purpose. I don't want to waste time. If Ling Hun's target was someone he loved, Yi Chen would definitely not provide him any help. Don't worry. We're not targeting Su Yuhan. We know about your relationship with her, and I'm sure you know her identity very well. So what? I can help you find Su Yuhan, but you have to help me find the Three Realms core. The Three Realms core. Yi Chen's eyes darted around. The Three Realms core is the key to maintaining the balance between the spirit realm, the devil realm, and the underworld. Recently, I've sensed that the Three Realms core is in turmoil and a calamity is coming. The Three Realms core is related to the survival of the Three Realms, so it must be in my hands. I see. Yi Chen smiled lightly. He did not care about the balance of the Three Realms. What he wanted was Su Yuhan's whereabouts. It seemed that working with the true Spirit Lord might be the fastest way. Show yourself. Ha ha ha. The true Spirit Lord laughed out loud. The surrounding clouds kept changing forms, and the true Spirit Lord's appearance appeared. How will you help me find Su Yuan? She's the reincarnation of the Lord of the Underworld. She has the powerful aura of the Lord of the Underworld. A long time ago, the Lord of the Devil Realm, and the Lord of the Underworld maintained the three realms core together. At that time, we left each other's energy crystals, and this is the key. As he spoke, a blue crystal appeared in midair. It was the Underworld crystal. Yi Chen was shocked. He sensed the familiar aura from it. Although it was not the same, it was very real. All right, I promise you. Ha ha ha, smart decision. Yi Chen, I'll lead everyone to visit 3,000 feet to the netherworld in 7 days. I'll keep you company. After saying that, Yi Chen flew up and disappeared into the void. At that moment, the spirit rushed up from the spirit ascension staircase in a panic. Seeing Yi Chen leave, he revealed a look of resentment. Trash. The spirit quickly knelt on the ground, not daring to raise his head. You've embarrassed the spirit realm. What else do you have to say? Lord Spirit Lord, this is all my fault. I have nothing to say. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Suddenly, white lightning appeared above the clouds and struck the spirit's face. With a painful roar, the spirit's body trembled, and a blood-colored pattern appeared on his face. It was a symbol of the Spirit Lord's punishment. Chapter 1952. When they arrived at 3,000 feet of the netherworld, the patriarch came out to welcome them. Fellow Yi, did you encounter any trouble on your trip to the True Spirit Hall? The patriarch asked. Patriarch, I'll tell you about the netherworld abyss now. Oh. The patriarch nodded slightly and brought Yi Chen into the hall. After everyone sat down, Yi Chen said, the so-called netherworld abyss is the entrance to the underworld. It's really 3,000 feet of the netherworld. A long time ago, 3,000 feet of the netherworld was the border of the three realms. The three realms core is sealed there. The three realms core? Many powerhouses were surprised. Although they had cultivated in the netherworld battle mansion for a long time, they had never heard of the three realms core. Although you've cultivated here for a long time, you're still too young compared to the three superpower houses. It's normal that you don't know about this. This time, the True Spirit Hall wants me to enter the underworld with them to find the three realms core. Fellow Yi, is the True Spirit Hall trustworthy? They've made an offer that I can't refuse. Could it be? The patriarch immediately thought that it must have something to do with Su Yuan if Yi Chen could not refuse. After all, she was in the underworld now. That's right. They can help me find Yuan, and I'll help them find the three realms core. No problem. As long as it's something Fella Yi wants to do, I'll support you to the end. Yi Chen nodded slightly. The patriarch's words warmed his heart. 7 days later, the True Spirit Hall arrived at the netherworld battle mansion. Rumble. The sun and moon opened, and a passage of light appeared. Countless powerhouses from the True Spirit Hall arrived. Seeing this, many people from the major forces of the netherworld battle mansion came out to welcome them. The True Spirit Hall was the ruler of the spirit realm. It was many levels higher than them. They did not expect Yi Chen to come to the netherworld battle mansion this time. Welcome to the True Spirit Hall. Countless powerhouses bowed. Many people knelt on the ground to express their sincerity. Yi Chen came out with the patriarch and Wu Xuan. However, the three of them did not bow. They stood where they were and watched the True Spirit Lord arrive. Yi Chen, are you ready? The True Spirit Lord did not blame the trio for not bowing. Instead, he asked Yi Chen directly. After all, what he cared about was the core of the three realms. No problem. We can go now. Very good. Lord True Spirit smiled. Then, he left a few dozen core experts of the True Spirit Hall behind. Some of the others returned to the True Spirit Hall, while others stayed in the netherworld battle mansion to await further orders. Seeing the True Spirit Lord talking to Yi Chen as if they were old friends, the crowd worshipped Yi Chen even more. Yi Chen and the other two followed Lord True Spirit to the back of the netherworld battle mansion, which was the real 3,000 feet of the netherworld. Z. Inside the Lord of True Spirit's array, everyone steadily descended 30,000 feet. At this moment, Elder Huang Quan came out to welcome them. I didn't expect the spiritual realm's true spirit lord to come in person. Please forgive me for not going out to welcome you. Elder Huang Quan stepped forward and bowed. Ah, old man Huang Quan, I have guarded the Netherworld Gate for a long time. Meeting you again today, I cannot help but sigh. Lord True Spirit said, I'm glad to see the Lord of True Spirit's majesty again. Open the gate to the underworld. What do you think? True Spirit Lord, I'm just an old man who guards the gates of the underworld. The gates of the underworld have already been sealed up by the inner parts of the underworld. I'm afraid that I'm not qualified to open them up. Trash! Lord True Spirit shouted coldly. Elder Huang Quan immediately knelt on the ground, not daring to move. Subsequently, Lord True Spirit personally came to the front of the gates of the underworld. He carefully observed the gates of the underworld. With a wave of his hand, spiritual energy covered the gates of the underworld. Instantly, countless underworld patterns appeared on it. Seeing these underworld patterns, Lord True Spirit looked at Yi Chun. Yi Chun, this is your chance to perform. Yi Chun glanced sideways at the gates of the underworld. He did not expect Lord True Spirit to ask him to break the array. He walked to the gate and glanced at the various underworld patterns on the gate. These underworld patterns sealed powerful underworld energy. It was not easy to break them. It required a lot of spiritual energy and mind power. Seeing Yi Chun walk to the front of the gates of the underworld and stop. He did not move for a long time. Many True Spirit Palace powerhouses revealed disdainful expressions. It seems like Yi Chun is only SOSO. Is this the powerhouse who easily defeated the spirit realm? Ridiculous. He's stumped by such a simple underworld pattern. Is it all he has? Many powerhouses mocked Yi Chun. The Patriarch and Wu Shuang looked at them coldly. However, those powerhouses did not think much of them. Many of them were at the peak of the ascension stage. There were even some itinerant immortals. They were the super powerhouses that Lord True Spirit had gathered together. This time, Lord True Spirit had great ambitions to enter the underworld. Lord True Spirit also looked at Yi Chun as if waiting for his answer. Yi Chun glanced at those people and walked to the gate. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. His eyes glowed. Suddenly, the true Samadhi fire came out and burned the entire gates of the underworld. Under the burning of the true Samadhi fire, the gates of the underworld began to change. These changes were the key to breaking the array. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Yi Chun waved his sword finger. Immediately, a few divine telekinesis sword chi entered the gate's array. Hiss, hiss, hiss. At the same time, a light screen appeared in front of everyone. This light screen was a holographic projection of Yi Chun's sword chi entering it. On the light screen, Yi Chun's figure appeared. This was not his real body, but a manifestation of divine telekinesis sword chi. When everyone saw this light screen, they still looked at it with disdain. To them, this kind of technique was a small trick. Yi Chun, hurry up and break the array. We don't have time to waste on you. Yes, Yi Chun, if you can't break the array, you should kill yourself. Don't embarrass yourself. Why do we need an hour to break this kind of array? Many powerhouses mocked Yi Chun again. At this time, Yi Chun flew out of the light screen and directly rushed into the fog of the array. Such an impulsive method made those powerhouses sneer. They thought that Yi Chun was a hothead who did not know how to break the array. To them, Yi Chun's method of breaking the array was no different from suicide. Lord True Spirit also revealed a serious expression. Yi Chun's divine telekinesis rushed into the fog of the array. This was too risky. Indeed, in the light screen, Yi Chun's divine telekinesis disappeared without a trace. There was no message. This made many powerhouses impatient. In their eyes, the moment Yi Chun's divine telekinesis rushed into the fog, he was already killed by the dark patterns. Lord True Spirit, this person's divine telekinesis is dead. Lord True Spirit frowned. That person did not dare to speak anymore and retreated. At this moment, suddenly, the wind and clouds in the light screen surged and space sank. There was a loud noise. Rumble. The loud noise shocked everyone present. In the light screen, the fog formation shattered on the spot. Only one person stood alone in the void. Chapter 1953. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Yi Chen's divine consciousness returned to his body, and the light screen disappeared. Rumble. At the same time, the underworld gate slowly opened. Yi Chen looked coldly at the people who had mocked him before. They were all pursing their lips in silence. They claimed that they would not even need an hour to break the formation. However, that was just an exaggeration. Meanwhile, Yi Chen only took less than 15 minutes to break the formation. Ha ha, Yi Chen, I didn't misjudge you. Seeing the gate to the underworld slowly open, the Lord of True Spirit laughed a few times before leading everyone into the underworld. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Inside the underworld gate, a gale swept. This gale contained the underworld's rules and was extremely harmful to the people of the spirit realm. Activate. Lord True Spirit pointed his sword at the sky. Suddenly, a huge light screen appeared above everyone. It was the defense formation. Under the defense formation, they could not even feel a breeze. Lord Spirit Master's power is unimaginable. Lord Spirit Master is mighty. Everyone bowed and thanked Lord True Spirit for the defense formation. Yi Chen and the other two looked at each other, shook their heads slightly, and followed the True Spirit Palace powerhouses. In the underworld, the environment was complicated and ever-changing. The place they had entered was Tianfeng Canyon. A violent gale swept through, and the mountain rocks shattered and fell. Every step he took was hair-raising. The gale contained a bloody aura, making everyone feel very uncomfortable. Let's go. Lord True Spirit released the sword boat. Everyone stepped on it and rushed out of the canyon. The exit of the canyon is in front. The environment outside should be much better. A powerhouse said. Everyone nodded. In this canyon, there were countless nether beast remains that emitted a nauseating stench. Everyone was disgusted. Buzz, buzz, buzz. At this moment, the sword boat passed through the canyon and entered a new space. However, after passing through the canyon, everyone realized that they did not enter a new space. They had even returned to when they first entered the underworld gate. Everyone was shocked. How could such a strange thing be explained? What's going on? Why are we back to where we started? Yeah, this is the space we were in when we first entered the canyon. D***MN, is there a formation? Everyone complained. At this time, Yi Chen looked around and did not find anything unusual. Yi Chen, what do you think? Lord True Spirit asked. This isn't an ordinary formation. Yi Chen said. Not bad. The Lord of True Spirit smiled and pointed downwards. Boom! Suddenly, the sword chi sprinted and bombarded a rock below. As the rocks shattered, the earth trembled, revealing a huge black hole. Everyone's spirits rose as they looked at the black hole. What is this? An expert asked. Right at this moment, the ground suddenly trembled, and time and space became chaotic. Berserk underworld wind attacked from below, and even the True Spirit Lord's defensive formation was unable to resist it, giving everyone a feeling of corrosion. Z. Everyone activated their own defense arrays to resist the corrosion of the nether wind. Roar! At this moment, a terrifying cry rang out. Within the black hole, a huge creature was wriggling its body. Many experts looked at the black hole and locked their eyes on the squirming body. So it's a nether beast. Let me kill this beast. An expert at the peak of the tribulation passing stage flew out. An ancient sword appeared in his hand as he headed straight for the giant beast. Kill. That person released the sword chi divine power. The powerful pressure turned into the shape of a giant sword and bombarded downwards. Boom! The sword chi made a loud noise. Then, in the darkness, the giant beast's body seemed to collapse. Ha ha ha! Such a piece of trash dares to block our way. What a joke! Watching the giant beast collapse, that person stood in the void, feeling very satisfied. Many experts nodded slightly, expressing their approval for his action. Roar! Just when that person was feeling proud, suddenly, an angry roar came from below. Then, a giant tentacle rushed out from the black hole and instantly locked onto that expert. That person was shocked. He didn't expect that the giant beast would hide its energy. He had fallen into a trap. Many experts were shocked at the same time. Seeing that the giant tentacle was about to drag that person into the black hole, many experts couldn't hold back their desire to fight and attacked. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. All kinds of divine powers and secret techniques were thrown at the black hole below. They thought that they could easily kill the black hole behemoth, but it was the opposite of what they expected. A bunch of idiots, Yi-Chen said coldly. What did you say? Many experts looked at Yi-Chen angrily. Didn't you see that this black hole is the giant beast's energy storage place? All your divine powers and secret techniques were absorbed by this black hole? What? Hearing Yi-Chen's words, everyone was shocked. They looked down and sensed where their energy went. Sure enough, they soon sensed that their energy had disappeared without a trace. The asterisk imminent. Everyone looked like they had been deceived, their hearts filled with anger. Enough! The true Spirit Lord was furious. Sword Chi shot out. Rumble. Accompanied by a strong vibration, the black hole below could not withstand such a huge amount of energy and immediately burst into pieces. The black hole behemoth also could not withstand the majestic power and died on the spot. The person who was engulfed by the tentacles also died under this sword. Many experts were horrified. They did not expect the true Spirit Lord to be so decisive, even killing the Ascension Stage powerhouse. In the underworld, only true experts can survive. Yes, everyone bowed, indicating that they would obey the true Spirit Lord's arrangements. Sensing the true Spirit Lord's viciousness, Yi-Chen's eyes turned slightly cold. He had to prepare for the worst. Everyone continued forward. Without the chaos of the black hole behemoth, the entire canyon space became normal. The sword boat flew out and entered a new world. In the land of the underworld, the surrounding space revealed waves of dark energy. These energies were naturally emitted from the ley lines. These energies caused the environment of the underworld to look dark red. These scenes would make people feel uneasy. However, the people who followed the true Spirit Lord were all almighties. It was easy for them to guard their minds. True Spirit Lord, I hope to find Yuhan's whereabouts as soon as possible. Yi-Chen, you're too anxious. Su Yuhan is the incarnation of the Lord of the Underworld. She might already be in the Underworld King's palace. We might have to spend some effort to find her. True Spirit Lord, my patience is limited. Please don't have any other ideas. Of course. The true Spirit Lord looked at Yi-Chen with a slight sneer. Yi-Chen felt that this person was unfathomable. He was a formidable opponent. The underworld was filled with danger. He hoped to find Su Yuhan as soon as possible. Although she was the reincarnation of the Lord of the Underworld forces were complicated and ever-changing. It was very disadvantageous to her. End of chapter. Chapter 1954. Within the Netherworld, the suppression on human magic power was extremely severe. The deeper one went, the more it was so. Although the Lord of True Spirit's cultivation was profound and powerful, he could still feel the suppression. Finding the core of the three realms was not an easy task. What he wanted to know more about was how extraordinary Yi-Chen was. To him, it was not a coincidence that Su Yuhan, who was the Lord of the Underworld's incarnation, chose Yi-Chen. Instead, it was because Yi-Chen must have a secret that no one else could understand. Therefore, he sent an envoy to lure Yi-Chen to the True Spirit Palace after receiving news about him. Of course, finding the core of the three realms was important, but finding Yi-Chen's secret was equally important. Yi-Chen, I can't sense the direction of the core. It should be that way. The True Spirit Lord pointed in one direction, but Yi-Chen was not that concerned about the core of the three realms. He cared about Su Yuhan. It had been a while since they parted. Su Yuhan must have been in a lot of pain during this period of time. Her mind was disturbed by the Netherlord's consciousness, and she was doing things that she did not want to do. Yi-Chen was in pain as well. However, in order to deal with the True Spirit Lord, Yi-Chen could not go against him. Understood. He nodded slightly and followed the Lord of True Spirit and the other experts in that direction. As they advanced, their tracks were already exposed. Squeak, squeak, squeak. In the sky, a few black crow-like birds flew past. No one noticed them, but the images of the crowd had already been imprinted in the eyes of the birds. They flew past quickly, not leaving any traces behind. Following the direction the Lord of True Spirit sensed, the group arrived at a continuous mountain range. Here, the coverage of the netherworld energy was incomparably dense, and the pressure on everyone gradually increased. Many experts of the True Spirit Palace had already sensed the anomaly and complained. Relying on their strong foundations, Yi Chun and the True Spirit Lord did not show any signs of discomfort. Don't use psionic energy to fight against the environment. Otherwise, commanding will be even more difficult. Lord of True Spirit reminded the experts of True Spirit Palace. Thank you for your reminder, Lord Spirit Lord. Everyone bowed and paid their respects. 1,000 miles away, in a dark place, clouds of dark aura enveloped this place, and in the center of this place was a bottomless black hole. Inside the black hole was a huge hall. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The cries of the dark birds echoed in the hall. Then, 3 to 5 dark birds flew into the hall. They all landed on a person's wrist. Z, Z, Z. The man activated some kind of spell, and the dark bird's eyes suddenly emitted a red glow. Following that, the glow condensed into images in midair. These images were the images of Yi Chun and the others entering the underworld. Ha, living person! At this moment, a tall, dark-skinned man revealed a greedy smile. The underworld gate has been shaken. Looks like these people came from the 3,000 Yellow Springs. These people are all experts, and one of them has an unfathomable cultivation base. The man pointed at Lord True Spirit. This matter must be reported. We're just an outpost. We can't act as we please. I'll leave the reporting to you. I'm going to play with them. With that, the dark-skinned man instantly disappeared. Hey, Tong, you're always so reckless. As they watched the dark-skinned man leave, the people in the hall revealed helpless looks. Then, he released his nether force and activated the array. ZZZ. The formation opened, and an image appeared in front of him. The Azure Dragon founder, Elder Baiju. The two politely bowed to each other. Our outpost 72 has found traces of humans. Traces of humans. Elder Baiju frowned upon hearing this. In the underworld, there had been no traces of humans for a long time. Now that they had suddenly appeared, something must have happened. Have you investigated their origins and the reason why they came to our underworld? We're still investigating, but this time, they're all experts. There are even immortals. Baiju nodded slightly and then sighed. I'll report this matter to the Green Nether Hall. Outpost 72, continue to monitor these people's movements. Yes, the Azure Dragon founder bowed slightly, and then the image disappeared. After reporting the situation, the Azure Dragon founder revealed a smirk at the corner of his lips. He was actually equally excited about the humans entering the underworld. If not for the fact that he had to report to Elder Baiju, he would definitely not have fallen behind Haitong. Since the report is done, let's play with them. Whoosh! As a dark wind blew, the Azure Dragon founder's figure disappeared. In the mountains, Yi Chun and the others continued to move forward, searching for the location of the Three Realms core. Yi Chun had some doubts. Logically speaking, the chance of finding the core was almost zero by searching aimlessly like this. However, the extremely intelligent True Spirit Lord had chosen this method. What was the reason behind it? He knew that if he asked directly, the True Spirit Lord would definitely answer perfunctorily. Stop! Suddenly, the True Spirit Lord called for everyone to stop. His eyes were sharp as he looked ahead. Between the mountains, there was an abnormal energy trembling. The True Spirit Lord closed his eyes and carefully sensed the location of this energy. 100 miles to the northwest. Suddenly he spoke. The others did not know what was happening, but Yi Chun sensed that there was a powerful energy fluctuation in the place that the True Spirit Lord mentioned. Go! Yes! Everyone obeyed the True Spirit Lord's command and rose into the sky. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Each of them displayed their abilities and flew. In the blink of an eye, they were 100 meters away from the place where they sensed. Yi Chun glanced over and found that there was powerful dark energy circulating in that place. Although it looked very hidden from the outside, super powerhouses could sense the information within. You go take a look. Yes. One of the spirit realm powerhouses followed the true spirit lord's instructions and walked toward that place. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Halfway there, a cold wind blew, causing the person's spirit to tremble and almost fall. Ha ha ha, are you scared? Instantly, many spirit realm powerhouses laughed at the person. I'm not that weak. The person pretended to be calm for the sake of his pride, but he was very flustered inside because he felt a very oppressive feeling in his spirit. This feeling was like sinking to the bottom of the water, and he could not breathe. Yi Chun and the other two looked at each other and were on guard. At this time, the person walked into the darkness. Just as everyone was waiting for news of him, suddenly, a scream was heard. Everyone's heart trembled, and they all released their abilities toward the dark land. Rumble. At this time, there was a loud noise, and then a huge figure appeared before everyone. End of this chapter. Chapter 1955. A blood-curdling scream rang out as the expert in front suddenly trembled. His legs were entangled by a giant hand, and his body was thrown into the air, flung around continuously. Thud, thud, thud. Subsequently, the powerhouse's body was entangled by the hand, and he was smashed around on the ground. Damn it. Soon, the powerhouse's face was covered in dirt and blood flowed out. He was extremely furious, and powerful psionic power burst out of his body. However, the huge hand actually released a huge amount of energy at the same time, negating the powerhouse's psionic power. Thud, thud, thud. Everyone only heard the loud, smashing sound. The powerhouse's voice became softer and softer until it disappeared. Perhaps feeling that the true Spirit Hall's powerhouse was humiliated, the true Spirit Lord's eyes narrowed, and he released lightning that struck the monster in the darkness. Roar. With a loud roar, the true Spirit Hall's powerhouse was instantly released. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The person's body rolled on the ground for a short distance and then stopped moving. A powerhouse went forward to check and then made a gesture of death. Everyone was shocked. Many people did not expect the monster in the darkness to be so powerful that it could easily kill a full-stage tribulation powerhouse. Bastard. The true Spirit Lord was furious and pointed his sword at the darkness. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Instantly, countless sword energies rushed into the dark cave like raindrops. Boom, boom, boom. Following that, countless lightning flashed and flames blazed. The entire cave turned into a sea of fire, burning everything. Finally, the sound of the explosion died down and the giant beast's voice disappeared. Everything was destroyed in the sea of fire as if it had never happened. Naturally, the true Spirit Lord was very dissatisfied with the true Spirit Hall's performance. Let's go, he said coldly. Yes. Everyone lowered their heads and followed, not daring to make a sound. Yi Chun sneered in his heart. There were many underworld monsters. Let's see how many true Spirit Hall masters have to deal with. The patriarch took a sip of wine and said with a smile, the true Spirit Hall is really going to change their souls. Hearing that, many people from the true Spirit Hall had cold expressions. However, they did not dare to stop when the true Spirit Lord was advancing. At this moment, a black energy floated in the dark clouds in the sky. Yi Chun looked up at the clouds. Relying on the ancient god space's powerful sensing ability, he had already discovered the existence of this undercurrent. Ancestor, we might be being monitored. Fellow Taoist Yi, those bastards from the True Spirit Palace still have to be monitored if we follow them? Not the True Spirit Palace. What's that? Perhaps they have been watching us ever since we entered the netherworld. So that's how it is. Your ancestor, have had enough. I want to stretch my limbs. Don't worry. Let's see how the True Spirit Palace performs first. Ha ha ha. The two of them conversed for a while before continuing their journey. At this moment, wherever they passed, the clouds in the sky would constantly turn into a dark color. It was like a shadow in the sky, causing one's spirit to be oppressed. Surrounded by mountains, the Lord of True Spirit stopped. His eyes were sharp as he looked at the tall and heavy mountain range, and the corners of his mouth curled into a smile. "It's here," he said. Yi Chun scanned the entire mountain range. He did not sense any energy that could stabilize the three realms. "True Spirit Lord, what is here?" "Ah, there are many treasures hidden in the netherworld." "Yi Chun, don't you want to take a look? Aren't you looking for the core of the three realms? That's the final goal. However, since we've come here, we can't go back so easily. We must plunder all the resources that we can use here." The Lord of True Spirit's eyes emitted a cold light like the eyes of a demon, sending chills down one's spine. Sensing the murderous energy on the Lord of True Spirit, Yi Chun felt that this person might be hiding more secrets. He could not help but pay more attention to this person's actions. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. At this moment, the Lord of True Spirit's sword fingers moved and a triangular shape appeared in the void. Then, at the peak before them, huge rocks on a mountain wall suddenly fell and a door appeared. This door was in the shape of a triangle. Seeing this, Yi Chen's eyes turned slightly cold. This person's attainment in swordsmanship was extremely high. This needed to be noted. Thump, thump, thump. The group walked through the door, and the dark energy shrouded them. Ha ha! Wonderful underworld energy. Suddenly, the Lord of True Spirit embraced the darkness and pretended to enjoy it. The group followed his footsteps and entered an underground cave. The temperature plummeted. The group realized that this cold was coming from the inside out, which was strange. Kacha, kacha, kacha. Suddenly, the rocks shattered and a layer of ice appeared in front of the group. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Another few rays of sword energy slashed through, and a door appeared in the Millennium Frost. The group was amazed. This Millennium Frost could not be damaged by ordinary sword energy, but before the Lord of True Spirit, it was like a piece of paper. The group entered the layer of ice and found that a thick liquid flowed out of the ice. It was thicker than anything else, and it was like black oil. A combatant beside the Lord of True Spirit walked forward and reached out his hand and touched the black oil. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Soon, the surface of his finger showed signs of corrosion. "It's these," he said. "Absorb." Yes. Many combatants came to the side of the rocks and kept absorbing the energy in the black oil. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. They completely ignored the corrosive damage on their bodies. The black oil constantly seeped out a strange energy and was absorbed by those people. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Soon, one of them absorbed too much energy and his eyes shone. Ha ha! That person revealed a crazed expression, but his body's energy index reached a new height. Yi Chun activated his golden pupil fiery eyes and saw waves of dark energy flowing through the meridians of these people. These energies were undoubtedly absorbed from the black oil. Do you see it, Yi Chun? See what? Energy. This is the energy we need. Even the Lord of True Spirit was excited. Yi Chun used the golden pupil flame to collect data and analyzed it. It's not that easy to absorb this energy, he said coldly. If you want to obtain absolute power, you have to pay the price, don't you think? Lord of True Spirit, what do you want? Yi Chun looked at the Lord of True Spirit coldly. It seemed that the other party's goal was not as simple as he said. Ha ha ha, Yi Chun, don't worry. I'll help you find the one you love. But you have to prove your worth. Looking at the crazy Lord of True Spirit, Yi Chun was even more confused. End of chapter. Chapter 1956. Yi Chun saw that the True Soul Temple combatants were absorbing the dark matter on the stone walls. Their bodies were changing as they were surrounded by dark energy. At the same time, dark stripes appeared on their necks, and even their eyes were darkening. Ha! Is this the power of nether energy? It feels so powerful. Ha ha! Suddenly, those who were absorbing the dark energy began to laugh wildly. It was not that they were controlling the energy, it was more like the energy was controlling them. Of course, Yi Chun could clearly sense that these people who were absorbing the dark matter were getting stronger. The method these people used to absorb the dark matter was very unique, as if it was a specially developed method. The person Yi Chun could think of who developed this method was naturally the True Spirit Lord before him. What will happen if you lose control of the energy after absorbing it? Yi Chen asked. Ha ha, this is the fastest way to increase my strength after many years of research. As for what will happen, they'll give me the answer. The true Spirit Lord looked at the people who were constantly changing after absorbing the energy. A cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. If he did not care about their lives, they would just be test subjects. Facing such crazy people from the true Spirit Palace from top to bottom, they were like demons wreaking havoc. Yi Chen and the other two shook their heads. At this time, the people who were absorbing the energy began to change horribly. It was obvious that their cultivation base and foundation could not control the dark matter in their bodies. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The dark energy formed lightning on the surface of their bodies and began to control their nerves and their bodies. The combatants turned completely dark, and their minds seemed to be struggling to break free. Seeing this scene, the true Spirit Lord's face darkened slightly. This was clearly not what he wanted. Based on their behavior, Yi Chen guessed that the true Spirit Lord must have used some strange technique to control their minds. Now, due to the invasion of the dark matter, their minds were struggling to break free from the true Spirit Lord's control. Spirit Lord, their minds are being forcibly stripped away. Ling Jun said, "It's fine. Ha ha ha. Let's see how powerful this dark energy can be." With that, the true Spirit Lord suddenly released psionic power, forming threads that extended to the combatants and entangled them. Those experts shouted loudly like cornered beasts fighting back. Their minds were under double suppression. On one hand, it was the mental violence of the dark matter, and, on the other hand, it was the strange control of the true Spirit Lord. This kind of pain was unimaginable to ordinary people. The clash between the two forces was pushing their bodies to the brink of collapse. True soul return. Lord True Spirit's eyes flashed with lightning, and his head began to tilt slightly, revealing a demonic expression. Then, those experts were controlled by the True Spirit, and at the same time, they retained the power of the dark matter. Ha ha, that's right. Lord True Spirit was overjoyed. Finally, his True Spirit variant art had successfully suppressed the mental disturbance caused by the dark matter. This meant that the dark energy could be used by him. Spirit Lord, we've succeeded. Ling Jun revealed an excited smile and became extremely excited. Ling Jun, it's your turn to try this time. Yes. Without saying a word, Ling Jun directly flew to the side of the stone walls. He roared angrily and stretched out his hand, placing it on the stone wall. Countless black, oily substances began to move towards his hand, and then continuously seeped into his meridians. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Soon, Ling Jun's body began to show the same symptoms as those experts before. However, his mental control was clearly above those people. He did not experience any obvious changes in the dark. Instead, while absorbing the energy, he controlled his own consciousness. Very good, very good. Lord True Spirit revealed a satisfied smile. Seeing everything before them, Yi Chen and the other two each had their own thoughts. I didn't expect the True Spirit Palace to be this kind of trash. The Patriarch snorted coldly and said impatiently. Hearing this, the experts who had absorbed the dark matter earlier turned to look at the Patriarch and emitted a murderous light. After absorbing the dark matter, while their physical strength increased, their murderous nature also erupted. This was the irreversible effect of the dark matter. Only the True Spirit Lord could control them, and at this moment, the True Spirit Lord did not restrict their actions. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The three experts came to the front of the old ancestor with ferocious expressions. Seeing this, Yi Chen's eyes turned cold, and a cold, murderous intent condensed in the hands behind his back. The *eminent. One of the experts shouted coldly at the Patriarch. Then, he slowly condensed a dark fist and attacked the Patriarch. You make it seem like I'm afraid of you. Ridiculous. The Patriarch sneered and took a sip of wine. The netherworld chi swept through his body, and he took the initiative to attack. Clang! Both of their fists collided. Instantly, a powerful shockwave caused both of their bodies to begin to distort. The patriarch was also a tribulation passing expert. During this period of time, he had returned to the netherworld battle mansion and absorbed the netherworld chi to increase his cultivation base to a new height. This was the source of his confidence against the dark cultivators. The patriarch roared angrily. The netherworld sword chi continuously erupted from his fist and actually formed a state of resistance against the dark cultivator. Meanwhile, the other two dark cultivators attacked at the same time, trying to sneak an attack on the patriarch. Back off! Just when they were about to reach the patriarch, a cold shout exploded along with a powerful spiritual energy gust. Rumble! A powerful pressure swept towards the two dark cultivators, forming a tornado. Although the two of them had the support of dark matter, they were still unable to resist the powerful tornado aura. The source of this energy was Yi Chun. Boom, boom. Subsequently, accompanied by two explosive sounds, the tornado completely exploded and sent the two experts flying. The two of them roared at Yi Chun, turning into wild beasts. Ignorant fools, are you trying to cross the line before the heavens? Yi Chun had his hands behind his back. It was as if the heavenly emperor himself had arrived. His powerful and dignified appearance shocked even the two who had turned into wild beasts. Although their minds were suppressed by the dark matter, they still had basic human rationality. Under Yi Chun's strong suppression, they did not dare to act rashly. At this moment, Ling Jun, who had absorbed enough dark matter, had turned into an even more powerful existence. His cultivation base was close to that of an itinerant immortal. At this moment, after absorbing the dark matter, his foundation instantly soared. The powerful pressure swept across Yi Chun and the other two. Chapter 1957. After Ling Jun absorbed the dark matter, his power skyrocketed. He attacked Yi Chun with his palm. Fellow Yi, be careful. The patriarch and Wu Shuang were worried for Yi Chun. At that moment, Ling Jun's ability was comparable to an itinerant immortal. Meanwhile, Yi Chun had just entered the ascension stage. How was he going to fight him? 8 gates divine plate, open, retract. At the critical moment, the 8 gates divine disc appeared above Yi Chun's head. The door opening opened instantly, and an enormous whirlpool of wind blocked Ling Jun's attack like the door between heaven and earth. Boom! The psionic powers of both parties kept colliding. Yi Chun stood where he was while the 8 gates of divinity spun and released light. The door of opening was like a bottomless pit, forcefully absorbing Ling Jun's dark psionic power. Impossible! Ling Jun widened his eyes and looked at Yi Chun in disbelief. It was as if he was looking at the most mysterious existence, causing his heart to tremble. A cultivation base comparable to an itinerant immortal was unable to shake Yi Chun in the slightest. Even the true Spirit Lord was curious about this. As expected of the person chosen by this Spirit Master. If we want to obtain the core of the 3 realms, it's all up to you. The Lord of True Spirit was not angry. Instead, he was overjoyed and even excited. Such behavior made Yi Chun think for a while. There must be a reason why the Lord of True Spirit chose me. Could it be that there are some special conditions to obtain the 3 realms core? Thinking of this, Yi Chun gradually understood his value to the True Spirit Lord. This way, he would have more bargaining chips when dealing with him in the future. The strength of 10,000 caddies. All of a sudden, Ling Jun's powerful palm energy charged at Yi Chun again. It was several times more powerful than before. Divine Disc Variation, View Gate. Yi Chun's eyes flashed. The 8 gates divine disc appeared again. The view gate opened, and the true Samadhi fire erupted. The power of the true fire, combined with the power of the gate of view. Instantly, the endless divine fire was like a tidal wave, instantly engulfing the power of Ling Jun's palm. Ling Jun turned pale with fright and quickly retreated. Boom! Immediately, The palm energy from before collided with the divine fire and was instantly engulfed by the divine fire. If Ling Jun had not retreated quickly, he would have been severely injured. The Lord of True Spirit waved his hand to stop the divine fire from invading and revealed a mysterious smile. Yi Chun, I didn't expect you to have such a treasure. The True Spirit Lord's eyes were locked onto the Eight Gates divine disc, but Yi Chun immediately put it away. The power of the celestial disc and Yi Chun's godhead were mutually reinforcing each other, so he could fight on his own and resist fatal dangers. Just now, it was the divine disc that had sensed Ling Jun's killing intent and had automatically come out of battle. These are just insignificant tricks of mine. How could they possibly catch the eye of the Spirit Lord? Faced with the True Spirit Lord's inquiry, Yi Chun did not want to reveal too much information about the Eight Gates divine disc, so he deliberately answered humbly. I didn't expect the domineering Yi Chun to be so humble. There's still many things that you haven't thought of, Lord True Spirit. Don't forget your promise. Ha ha ha. The Lord of True Spirit laughed a few times before personally walking up to the cliff. True Spirit, devour. Then a dense spiritual energy burst out of his body as he activated a secret technique. The dark matter was absorbed by the Lord of True Spirit. Yi Chun's eyes glinted coldly at the sight of this. The Spirit Lord Adjudicator was cunning and sinister. He would do anything to achieve his goals. He would even sacrifice his own subordinates. Working with him would be fraught with danger. Fellow Yi, this person is too treacherous. We must be careful, the old ancestor said. And Yi Chun nodded slightly. The Lord of True Spirit absorbed the dark matter, and his body immediately erupted with powerful dark energy. The entire cliff began to shake continuously, and the surrounding space vibrated rapidly. Leave! He shouted to the crowd and then flew out. The crowd followed. The cliff continued to shatter, and all sorts of huge rocks tumbled down. The powerful destructive energy soon buried the cliff before them. These scenes were all seen by a pair of eyes in the clouds. A person from the spiritual realm actually absorbed the dark water. How unbelievable! The person muttered to himself and revealed a face. It was Hei Tong. Hei Tong stretched out his hand, pinched a dark cloud, and threw it out. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The cloud transformed into a black bird and flew toward Outpost 72. After leaving the mountain peak, the Lord of True Spirit sat cross-legged in the air and meditated while Ling Jun and the other powerhouses guarded the surroundings. Ling Jun kept staring at Yi Chun as if he wanted to find some flaws. However, it was all in vain. The ancient god protected him against all poisons, and the diamond body was unbreakable. The current Yi Chun relied on the thought anomaly and the ancient god space to comprehend many itinerant immortal rules. He was not afraid of Ling Jun's provocation at all. Hiss, hiss, hiss. At this moment, the dark netherworld energy in the Lord of True Spirit soared into the sky and bombarded the sky. Boom, boom, boom. Following that, the clouds broke and the rain began to fall. Above the clouds, Hei Tong glared at the Lord of True Spirit, wondering if the other party had discovered his existence. It was precisely because of this that the Lord of True Spirit had long sensed Hei Tong hiding above the clouds. This time, he adjusted his breath and channeled the dark water energy to charge into the sky and intimidate Hei Tong. Still not showing yourself? The Lord of True Spirit shouted toward the sky. Ha ha ha! Since he had been discovered, Hei Tong laughed wildly and controlled the dark clouds to descend. You people from the spiritual realm dare to invade my underworld. You're courting death. Hei Tong glared at Yi Chun and the others. Who do you think you are? How dare you boast in front of me? Even the Lord of the underworld has to respect me. You don't even have the right to look me in the eye. The Lord of True Spirit's response was even more domineering, treating Hei Tong like he was nothing. The asterisk eminent. Hei Tong was enraged. The dark energy in his body exploded and turned into a giant demonic claw that pressed toward the Lord of True Spirit. Useless move. The Lord of True Spirit's eyes gleamed coldly. He pointed his sword finger forward, and the majestic energy turned into a ferocious tiger that roared. Roar. Boom, boom, boom. When the ferocious tiger passed, not even a blade of grass was left. The surrounding space was shattered and countless mountains were turned into dust. Feeling such powerful energy, Haitong was shocked. He hurriedly released his dark energy to strengthen the demonic claw and flew into the sky to avoid the ferocious tiger's attack. Rumble. Kacha, kacha, kacha. The demonic claw could not withstand a single blow from the ferocious tiger's attack. It shattered on the spot and turned into nothingness. Who are you? Haitong asked angrily. Go back and tell your master that I'm the Lord of True Spirit. I'm here for the stability of the three realms. If you dare to go against me again, I'll kill you. Lord of True Spirit. Hearing this name, Haitong finally understood that the person before him was the most powerful person in the spiritual realm's True Spirit Palace. Lord of True Spirit, don't be arrogant. In my underworld, so what if you're powerful? We won't yield. With that, Haitong turned into a dark cloud and flew away. Mighty Lord, the people of the True Spirit Palace bowed and praised the Lord of True Spirit. Chapter 1958. Lord True Soul, is the core of the three realms really just to stabilize the balance of the three realms? Yichen suddenly asked after Haitong left. Lord True Spirit's expression changed as he revealed an amused smile. Yichen, why do you ask? I'm just curious. There's no reason why. Curious? The two of them laughed at the same time, but their eyes were fixed on each other. It was obvious that there was a deeper meaning between the two of them. The True Spirit Lord was unfathomable. Whether it was his cultivation base or his shrewdness, Yichen gradually came to the conclusion that the so-called core of the three realms was just an excuse. The True Spirit Lord must have a deeper purpose. Otherwise, he would not have taken a risk to come to the underworld and even forcefully absorb the underworld energy. Although the netherworld energy had given the people of the True Spirit Hall the foundation to ascend, the people of the spiritual realm would eventually be repelled if they absorbed the netherworld energy. There had to be some other purpose. Yichen understood that the True Spirit Lord would not easily reveal his true purpose. He could only play by ear and adapt to the situation. Intimidated by the Lord of True Spirit, Haitong quickly returned to Outpost 72. Whoosh! His figure flashed into the sentry post, and when everyone saw that it was Haitong, they did not stop him. Haitong, why are you so flustered? Seeing Haitong in such a sorry state, the Azure Dragon founder asked. This is bad. The Lord of the Spirit World has descended. What? The Azure Dragon founder was stunned at first. Then his brows furrowed, and his expression changed greatly. The Lord of the Spirit World is the Lord of the True Spirit World. His cultivation base is unfathomably deep, and there are even people who speculate that he will ascend to the immortal world. What does he mean by coming to the netherworld? I don't know. This person's power is too mysterious. My magical power was shattered by him in just a single move. I almost lost my life. Damn it. This is a grave matter. I have to report this to Hell's Sovereign. Report quickly. After Haitong was done speaking, he proceeded to leave to observe Yi Chun and the rest. Meanwhile, the Azure Dragon founder turned on the screen again. Azure Dragon founder, what do you think this is? Why are you disturbing me again? On the other side was Elder Baiju, who was concocting pills. It was obvious that he had been disturbed by the Azure Dragon founder. Elder Baiju, please calm down. There's an emergency here. What's the situation? The True Spirit Lord has descended. What? True Spirit Lord? Elder Baiju was similarly shocked. The True Spirit Lord was an extremely powerful existence in the spirit realm, and back then, he was someone who could contend against the Underworld Lord. Such a person had descended, and now that the Underworld Lord's whereabouts were a mystery, no one could contend against him. The situation was dire, and they had to deal with it as soon as possible. Continue to observe the True Spirit Lord's whereabouts. Report to me immediately if there are any abnormalities. Yes, Elder Baiju. The Azure Dragon founder bowed slightly, and the light screen disappeared. On the other side of the light screen, Baiju's expression was extremely ugly. He was no longer in the mood to concoct pills, so he went directly to an altar. He released his nether force and lit the huge candle twice. Then, he dripped his blood to activate the formation. Boom! The spell formation was activated. Instantly, a dark light illuminated the 9 heavens, and a huge figure appeared in front of them. Phew! He exhaled a mouthful of netherworld chi and sat on his throne, looking down at Elder Baiju. Baiju, why did you summon me through the blood sacrifice array? Hell Sovereign, the true spirit lord of the spiritual realm, has descended upon the netherworld. How should we deal with it? True spirit lord. Hell Sovereign opened his eyes slightly. His huge eyeballs were like copper bells, constantly turning. A long time ago, this person formed an alliance with the netherworld lord and created the core of the 3 realms together to stabilize the space of the 3 realms. Could it be that he is here for the core of the 3 realms? We haven't found out his purpose yet, but what Hell Sovereign said is very true. Elder Baiju agreed with what Hell Sovereign said. Hell Sovereign sneered and looked at Baiju. Although this person is strong, the netherworld is our home ground. There is no need to panic. Inform all the major outposts to monitor this person's whereabouts. We must not let him find the core of the 3 realms. Yes. Elder Baiju bowed slightly, and Hell Sovereign disappeared. He released his nether force and quickly sent out orders to the 72nd outpost. In the 72nd outpost, the Azure Dragon founder waited for further orders. At this moment, Elder Baiju's orders appeared in the void. Stop the true spirit lord from finding the core of the 3 realms at all costs. Yes. The Azure Dragon founder nodded slightly, then released his nether force and turned into a bird, chasing after Haitong. In the outside world, the true spirit lord and the others left the Darkwater Mountain range and continued to search for traces of the core of the 3 realms. As for Haitong, who had been defeated earlier, he released his clones and continued to track the true spirit lord. Buzz, buzz, buzz. At this moment, the bird arrived and stopped in mid-air, turning into words. Yes. Haitong nodded slightly at the Azure Dragon founder's order. He channeled his nether force and released more clones, informing the other outposts to work together. On a peak, the true spirit lord closed his eyes slightly and raised his hands high. Waves of psionic and nether force mixed in midair, creating a 2-colored light ball. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The 2-colored light ball constantly released energy and spread in all directions. The true spirit lord released his psionic power to enhance the light ball's power. In a short while, everything within a 1,000-mile radius was scanned by the light ball. This was the artifact that the true spirit lord used to find the core of the 3 realms, the underworld's spirit pearl. Is this his purpose for absorbing the Darkwater? Seeing the true spirit lord's action, Yichen immediately began to connect the dots and came to a conclusion. The underworld spirit pearl suddenly reacted, and a strange light shot into the true spirit lord's brow. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The strange light entered the true spirit lord's mind. No one knew what message it carried. Aha, very good. Suddenly, the true spirit lord opened his eyes and smiled proudly. 800 miles north, let's go. Yes. The people of the true spirit palace accepted the order. Yi Chun and the other 2 looked at each other and followed them onto the spirit boat. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The spirit boat flew past and headed straight for its destination. Haitong's clones noticed all of this and quickly reported to him. They went to the 36th outpost. Looks like I'll have to act fast. Haitong frowned and released a nether force formation, gathering the psionic power from many outposts onto his body. Buzz, buzz, buzz. With a flash of netherlight, Haitong's figure disappeared. 10 seconds later, Haitong appeared in a new space. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. He flew towards a high peak. Who are you? Outpost 72. Haitong. Lord Haitong, open the door. Rumble. The door of the 36th outpost opened, and Haitong flew in. In the main hall, the 36th outpost general, Lang Xing, came out to welcome him. Haitong, how did you come on my outpost? Taoist Lang Xing, the spiritual realm almighty, is heading toward the 36th outpost. You must be prepared. Spiritual realm almighty? Ha ha, what a joke. Chapter 1959. Heitong frowned slightly at Lang Xing's laughter. Lord Lang Xing, do you know who's coming this time? No matter who it is, no one in the land of the underworld can cross my 36th outpost. The corner of Wandering Wolf's mouth curled into a sneer. He was too disdainful of Heitong's report. He himself was an expert at the peak of the transcending tribulation realm. In addition, the array formations around the outpost were all under his control. Therefore, Heitong's words made him feel like he was challenging his authority. Lord Lang Xing, the person who came this time, is really powerful. It's the Lord of the true Spirit Palace. So what? I said it's no problem. Seeing that Lang Xing did not listen to his advice, Heitong had no choice but to go out and observe the situation. Lang Xing sat on his throne, holding a cup of red blood wine in his hand and enjoying it. Life in the underworld was too boring. He had long wanted to fight. In the underworld, he was a member of the pro-war faction. He had wanted to attack the spiritual realm for a long time, and this was his chance. In the outside world, Yi Chun and the other two continued to follow the Lord of True Spirit. According to the Lord of True Spirit's senses, to find the core of the three realms, they had to pass through the 36th outpost. The peak ahead should be the Netherworld's outpost 36. Everyone, stay alert. Everyone, be careful, the Lord of True Spirit said. The people of the underworld are arrogant. This time, we'll destroy this outpost to shock the people of the underworld. After absorbing the dark matter, Ling Jun's personality changed greatly. He was now very violent. That's good too. These people of the underworld will become our food, the Lord of True Spirit said with a smile. Looking at the Lord of True Spirit and the others, Yi Chun thought to himself that these people had become abnormal after absorbing the dark matter. Even the Lord of True Spirit had changed. These were some unstable factors. However, in order to find Su Yuhan, he could only follow the Lord of True Spirit and find a chance to obtain the nether energy crystal from the Lord of True Spirit. Just when the Lord of True Spirit and the others arrived at the peak of the outpost, Taoist Lang Xing had already appeared on the observation platform. They really came. He looked at the people below the peak with a murderous sneer. This time, he wanted to completely annihilate the people of the spiritual realm and let the higher-ups of the underworld understand that the people of the spiritual realm were all paper tigers. Attacking the spiritual realm was the right choice. Who are you? Lang Xing roared angrily, his voice shaking the surrounding 100 miles. You don't have the right to speak to the Spirit Lord. Come down here and die. Ling Jun stepped forward and shouted towards Lang Xing, who was on the peak. Oh! Lang Xing gritted his teeth slightly. He did not expect the people of the spiritual realm to be so arrogant and directly provoke him in his territory. People of the spiritual world, since you've come to die, I'll accept you. Since they couldn't get along, they immediately attacked. Taoist Longxing made a gesture to the people below, and the cultivators beside him waved their spirit weapons. Immediately, waves of nether energy were released toward the ground below. Boom! Then, the earth shook, and several huge stone pillars rushed out from the ground. Yi Chun moved slightly and infused spiritual power into the ground to investigate the source of the stone pillar. Seeing these stone pillars appear before him, Lord True Spirit sneered. Since you're courting death, don't blame me for being merciless. Dogs of the True Spirit Palace die. Lang Xing was domineering and fierce as he personally released the formation. He shot a few fist gleams forward. These fist gleams flew into the formation and were continuously reinforced by the stone pillars. Their power doubled as they went straight for Lord True Spirit. Swoosh! At this moment, Ling Jun flew out. Dark energy erupted from his body and blocked the fist gleams valiantly. Boom, boom, boom. Powerful energy exploded around Ling Jun's body. Then, between heaven and earth, nether energy and spiritual power entangled. Ling Jun stepped on the ground and flew up with a bang. Seeing this scene, Lang Xing frowned. Only then did he realize that these people were not to be trifled with. He Tong's words might be true. Damn it. However, as the representative of the pro-war faction, how could he yield? Kill. Lang Xing personally took action, guiding the power of the formation toward Ling Jun. Boom, boom, boom. The power of both sides kept clashing, but Ling Jun was using the entanglement of spiritual power and nether energy. It was strange and unpredictable. What's going on? The energy he's using contains nether energy. Very soon, Lang Xing realized this. In fact, the other party's attacks were all preemptive, and his nether energy was almost ineffective. Kill him. Lang Xing was enraged and gave the order to kill. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The underworld warriors in the outpost moved out and surrounded Ling Jun. Ha ha ha. Ling Jun laughed. Then, a dark energy ball appeared in his hand. Rumble. Instantly, these energy balls soared into the sky and formed dark clouds. They were even more powerful than He Tong's power. This shocked He Tong, who was hidden in the dark clouds. How did these guys obtain such power? He had previously observed the true Spirit Hall members absorbing the dark water power. However, he could not figure out what method they used to channel the power to such an extent. In his opinion, even the native cultivators of the underworld would find it difficult to use the dark water power, let alone the people of the spiritual realm. However, what he saw was Ling Jun using the dark water power and combining it with his own spiritual power to unleash his strongest attack. Kill. Ling Jun guided the nether energy to attack Lang Xing. Lang Xing realized that something was wrong. The opponent's foundation might be above the Grand Supreme stage. Wolf Destruction Formation. Helpless, Lang Xing activated the strongest offensive and defensive formation in the 36th outpost, the Wolf Destruction Formation. This formation was used to deal with the strongest invaders. He did not expect to use it so soon. Seeing this, He Tong and the dark clouds moved at the same time. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Above the dark clouds, He Tong released his concealment nether energy. Through the countless dark clouds, he wanted to launch a sneak attack on Ling Jun. Yi Chun looked up at the sky. He had long noticed He Tong's existence. He did not say anything and waited to see what would happen. After all, the true Spirit Hall members were full of killing intent. The people of the underworld were equally fierce. This was a chance for them to wear each other down. On the battlefield, Lang Xing activated the Wolf Destruction Formation. Immediately, the stone pillars that rushed out from the ground released a strange power, concentrating their power and shooting it at the leading army in the sky. Buzz, buzz, buzz. These nether energy rays carried a powerful destructive force, aiming to kill in one hit. Underworld trash, is that all you've got? When Ling Jun shouted angrily, the dark water power in his body completely erupted. His foundation was raised to a new height, which was his limit. Slash. Without any extra movements, when Ling Jun guided the entanglement power in his body and launched the strongest counterattack at the Wolf Destruction Formation. Into this chapter. Chapter 1960. Rumble. With a loud rumble, Ling Jun's entire body exploded with the strongest entanglement force as he charged down from the sky. Although the devastating wolf formation was powerful, it instantly lost its effect when faced with the strange entanglement of psionic and nether energy. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The internal rules shattered on the spot as Ling Jun charged within, his fist radiance shaking the surroundings. Kacha, kacha, kacha. The huge tremor damaged the core of the devastating wolf formation and rendered it unable to operate. Kill. Ling Jun's murderous nature erupted as he charged straight at Lang Xing. What? Lang Xing's brows knitted together as rage filled his heart. His devastating wolf formation was broken just like that. He had no dignity at all. Kill him. With the order to kill, countless underworld warriors charged at Ling Jun. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. However, when they encountered Ling Jun, they could already feel the unparalleled murderous nature. He was like a wild beast, unrelenting. Ha ha ha! Ling Jun laughed maniacally as fresh blood flowed from his hands. His palms turned into sharp claws as he slaughtered madly, causing him to lose his humanity. However, this was the strongest combat power that the true Spirit Lord wanted. Looking at the scene before them, Yi Chun and the other two exchanged glances deep in thought. This is bad. If this goes on, the 36th outpost will fall. Above the clouds, Heitong realized the severity of the problem. His previous warning was not taken seriously. Lang Xing was no match for Ling Jun at all, let alone the true Spirit Lord. Go! Heitong quickly retreated. Rumble, rumble, rumble. In the clouds, the energy the Heitong left behind kept blasting down, but could not do anything to Ling Jun. At this moment, Ling Jun had transformed into the most violent beast. Bone armor grew on his back as his body underwent rapid changes. Seeing this scene, the underworld warriors were shocked as they retreated one after another. Don't retreat, Lang Xing shouted angrily. With the military order in front of them, the warriors did not know what to do. Before they could react, Ling Jun's slaughter had arrived. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Sharp claws slashed and blood boiled. Cries of pain rang incessantly as countless underworld warriors collapsed in pools of blood. Heitong arrived at a hidden peak and activated the light screen formation. Taoist Qing Long, the 36th outpost, is about to fall. What? On the other side, the Qing Long founder was momentarily shocked. The 36th Good Sentry post had extremely strong formation support, and in his opinion, they wouldn't be easily broken through. Taoist Longxing was too careless. The situation is critical. Heitong transmitted the scene to Taoist Qing Long. Taoist Qing Long looked worried. I'll report to Elder Baizhu immediately. Continue to monitor the situation. Yes. Heitong bowed and closed the screen. At the 36th Sentry post, Ling Jun was on a killing spree. No one could stop him. In the end, it was Lang Xing's turn. I won't let you have your way. This is my outpost. I won't let you have your way. At this moment, Lang Xing had already fallen into a mental breakdown. His eyes were filled with fear, but he still held on to his dignity as a martial artist. Kikik. Ling Jun let out a cold laugh. His entire person was filled with a crazed, murderous intent. Ling Jun finished them off. Lord True Spirit ordered. Yes, Lord True Spirit. Ling Jun accepted the order. The bone armor on his back suddenly opened, turning into bone wings as he flew out. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. It was so fast that it couldn't even be blinked. Kill. The shadow of a wolf appeared behind Lang Xing, and his underworld energy was at its strongest state. The two of them met in midair. Rumble. After a huge energy explosion, Lang Xing's body suddenly fell. On his body, Ling Jun stepped on him with one hand grabbing Lang Xing's throat. Crack. With a cracking sound, Lang Xing's eyes lost their color. The remaining underworld warriors fled for their lives when they saw this scene. Where do you think you're going? At this moment, the other True Spirit Hall experts attacked one after another. In no time, none of them were left. With the fall of the 36th Sentry post, Lord True Spirit led everyone in. In the 72nd Sentry post, Taoist Qing Long had already reported the situation of the battle to Elder Baizhu. Bastard! Elder Baizhu cursed, but he also knew that this wouldn't solve the problem. Retreat from the 36th district. What? Execute it immediately. Yes. Elder Baizhu immediately turned off the light screen after he finished speaking. At the same time, Taoist Qing Long sent an order to Heitong. Heitong received the order and quickly returned to the 36th Sentry post. At this moment, what he saw was a scene of devastation and blood flowing like a river. Countless underworld warriors were lying in pools of blood. No one survived. Damn it! Heitong cursed, but it was useless. He could only quickly search for possible survivors. In the Sentry post, Lord True Spirit sat on the throne and looked at the map before him with a smirk at the corner of his lips. The core of the three realms is here. He pointed at a location on the map, which was the place surrounded by mountains. Yichen looked at that location. It was 10,000 miles away from the 36th Sentry Post. With their speed, it would not be difficult to reach that place. However, Yi Chen's mind was still on looking for Su Yuhan. He realized that that place was not far from the capital of the underworld. He might be able to find Su Yuhan's whereabouts. Let's leave early, Yi Chen said. Huh, Yi Chen, you're anxious again. Lord True Spirit looked at Yi Chen and revealed a meaningful smile. Lord True Spirit, I don't want to waste time. All right. Lord True Spirit knew that Yi Chen's patience was limited. He had to make good use of this time. The group set off from the 36th Sentry Post and headed toward the Emperor Hell Mountain Range. The Emperor Hell Mountain Range was one of the oldest mountains in the underworld. It contained many secrets of the underworld. This operation would definitely be resisted by the people of the underworld. The group boarded the sword boat and flew away. Rumble. Above the clouds ahead, darkness lingered. The lightning was like an evil dragon, suppressing everyone's mind. The sword boat floated in the sky and was attacked by the dark lightning from time to time. Lord True Spirit released psionic power to protect the boat. The entire sword boat was covered in a layer of colorful light. Roar. The roars of nether beasts came from time to time in the mountain range, shocking one's mind. Lord True Spirit tossed the underworld spirit bead. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The underworld spirit bead constantly glowed. This time, its reaction was extremely strong, making Lord True Spirit smile. This is the place. His eyes were filled with excitement. Descend. The sword boat flew down, passing through the dark lightning clouds. The Emperor Hell Mountain Range was right in front of them. As soon as they landed, a towering mountain suddenly collapsed, pressing toward the sword boat. Huh. While everyone was shocked, they only saw darkness spreading and the underworld surging. Chapter 1961. Your Majesty, the human army led by the True Spirit Lord has broken through the 36th outpost and is heading toward the Emperor of Hell Mountain. The Emperor of Hell Mountain? Yes, they seem to be looking for something, but I don't know what it is exactly. The Emperor frowned slightly. He seemed to have thought of something, but Taoist Baiju's level did not seem to be high enough, so he did not say it. Baiju, gather the army immediately and head to the Emperor of Hell Mountain. Yes, Your Majesty. Baiju received the order and quickly dispatched the outposts around the Emperor of Hell Mountain to support. Outside the Emperor of Hell Mountain, black mist lingered and underworld energy exploded. Huh, what nether beast is it now? The True Spirit Lord sneered and looked at the place where the underworld energy exploded, but there was no nether beast rushing out. Your Majesty, it might not be a nether beast. It could be a cultivator of the netherworld. The True Spirit Lord nodded slightly and then sent a few powerhouses to investigate. According to the Underworld Spirit Pearl, this was probably the sealed core of the three realms. The Emperor of Hell. Yi Chen thought. The Emperor of Hell was also one of the 18 emperors of Nether Prison. He had to figure out the relationship between the Emperor of Hell and the Emperor of Hell. Otherwise, the consequences would be unpredictable. A powerhouse from the True Spirit Hall walked forward and observed the place where the underworld energy exploded. Your Majesty, it might be because the psionic energy that descended is too strong and triggered the Earth Chi in the Emperor of Hell Mountain. Triggered the Earth Chi? The True Spirit Lord's expression changed as he looked at the entire mountain. The Emperor of Hell Mountain. He stretched out a hand and pointed at the Emperor of Hell Mountain. Rumble. Suddenly, a huge psionic handprint pressed down on the Emperor of Hell Mountain from the sky. The huge handprint carried the mighty power of the Spirit Lord, as if it was going to crush the entire Emperor of Hell Mountain. Such a terrifying power made the surrounding True Spirit Hall disciples exclaim. This is the Spirit Lord's star palm. It's too grand. It can cover the entire mountain. Only the Spirit Lord can do that. This time, no matter what Earth Chi it is, we have to hold it back. Everyone was amazed by the Lord of True Spirit's means, and at the same time, they looked down on the power of the Emperor of Netherworld Mountain. Rumble. The star palm kept falling and was about to touch the mountain. Suddenly, a huge amount of nether energy appeared in the mountain range. Then, Waves of repulsive force quickly attacked the star-pointing palm. Kacha, kacha, kacha. The starlight palm was like a hot knife through butter, crushing an unknown amount of nether energy. However, the nether energy seemed to be endless as it continued to attack the starlight palm. This scene made the crowd feel strange. Lord True Spirit grabbed out with his hand, wanting to break through the defenses of the mountain range. Earth, however, the Lord had Lord one of the mountain. However, this Lord had made the Lord, but the Spirit of Lord. The Lord of Spirit. Lord True Spirit sensed that something was amiss. The powerful counterforce forced many experts of the True Spirit Palace to back off. So. Right after all of them retreated, rumbling resounded once more from the Emperor of Netherworld Mountain Range, and then numerous balls of black light appeared above the mountain range. It was like a great figure from the devil race had descended, and it was a horrifying sight. Lord of King of Ling's Spirit Mountain Spirit. Ling's Spirit. Spirit. Lord of God. Spirit Fire of Heaven and Earth go. He used the power of Spirit Fire and his cultivation to attack the dark light. However, his strength was unable to truly shake those rays of light. Rumble. In fact, the light from the mountain range even formed a humanoid figure. Everyone was shocked. Who exactly was this person? Just as everyone was feeling puzzled, the gigantic demon waved its hand and charged toward them. Looking at such a huge body and strong foundation, the people from the True Spirit Palace felt that their lives were in danger. Rumble. A huge palm print smashed down from the sky, instantly shattering the place where everyone was standing. Many experts of the True Spirit Palace did not dare to move recklessly and stood behind the Lord of True Spirit. Who are you? How dare you disturb my peace? The human figure spoke. It was overbearing and had the demeanor of a king. Are you the king of hell? Lord of Spirit asked. You're the Spirit Lord of the True Spirit Hall? Yes, I am. Is the core of the three realms in the King of Hell Mountain Spirit? Lord True Spirit went straight to the point and asked the domineering figure. If you want to know the answer, you'll have to go in and see for yourself. Are you trying to trick us into going in? You don't dare? Then go back to the spirit realm. Lord of Spirit was furious. Who was this figure in the demonic mountain spirit? How much of the King of Hell's power did he have? All kinds of questions were directed at Lord of Spirit. Human, die here. The giant demon reached out and grabbed at them. How dare you? Lord of Spirit was furious. He attacked again with the star-touching palm. The two giant palms collided. Everyone was shocked. Yichen looked at the giant demon and closed his eyes to sense the source. It was the power of the King of Hell. King of Hell, why hide your identity? At that moment, Yichen walked up and said calmly, Oh, you know who I am? The giant demon looked at Yichen with a sneer. Its giant palm went straight for Yichen. He could not let someone who knew his secret live in the enemy's camp. I don't need to know who you are. I just need to know where you came from. Damn it. The King of Hell's shadow suddenly punched at Yichen. Unparalleled ancient god. Yichen's body exuded unparalleled energy. It was condensed from the ancient god power and contained the ancient god space law. It was very exquisite. Rumble. The ancient god power and the King of Hell's demonic ability collided. Divine power swept in all directions, and the demonic ability shocked the 9 heavens. At this moment, the superpower released by the King of Hell Shadow was completely blocked by Yichen's ancient god space. Such a shocking feat instantly stunned many powerhouses. You can actually take my palm. It's just a palm. Is there a need to be so excited? Yichen's arrogance instantly caused the King of Hell's Shadow to be dissatisfied. Die! The King of Hell's Shadow attacked again. This time, the attack was dozens of times stronger than before. He wanted Yichen to surrender and bow at his feet. As the guardian of the Emperor of Hell Mountain, he had to protect the hundreds of people in front of him so that the secret of the Emperor of Hell Mountain would never be revealed. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Boom, boom, boom. The powerful suppressive attack caused energy explosions in the surrounding space. Countless mountains were destroyed. Mountain rocks flew and dust rose. For a moment, No one could see Yi Chun and the giant demon shadow. Only one person could see through it. It was the Lord of Spirit. Chapter 1962. Amidst the chaotic battle, Yi Chun kept sensing the phantom's energy. Since this was the emperor of the underworld mountain range, it was very useful to be familiar with the phantom's energy. Under the suppression of the ancient god power, the phantom fell into Yi Chun's control. Kid, who are you? Do you know about the Lord of the Underworld? Lord of the Underworld? Hearing that Yi Chun was looking for the Lord of the Underworld, the phantom was slightly stunned. The Lord of the Underworld is the key to the underworld. What does it have to do with you? Yi Chun already knew that the phantom did not know where the Lord of the Underworld was. He sneered and a powerful psionic energy rushed out. Boom, boom, boom. The psionic energy burst out and the phantom was shattered. Under such an impact, Yi Chun's figure flew out. The phantom attacked Yi Chun with a giant fist. Before Yi Chun returned to the crowd, he used the phantom fist to attack the True Spirit Palace's combatants. The combatants were still looking for Yi Chun's location, and now they were facing such a powerful attack. Kill! Many combatants attacked one after another, forming a giant fist to resist the phantom. Go to hell! The phantom laughed wildly, and the emperor of the underworld's power descended. Rumble! As the giant fist descended, everyone attacked at the same time. The two forces met in the air. The powerful impact shocked everyone. They did not expect the phantom to be so powerful. At this moment, the True Spirit Lord suddenly released the Underworld Spirit Pearl. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The Underworld Spirit Pearl emitted light and shot into the mountain range. These rays of light illuminated the dense fog in front of them, revealing the enormous figure of the Underworld Emperor's demonic shadow. Feeling the threat from the True Spirit Lord, the phantom turned around and punched. Clang! The True Spirit Lord raised his hand slightly, and a giant star palm blocked the phantom's fist. Such power. The Emperor of the Underworld is just SOSO. The True Spirit Lord's mockery enraged the phantom. It gathered all its energy and charged at the True Spirit Lord. Phantom Strike, kill! The combatants of the True Spirit Palace saw countless phantoms appearing in front of them. They could not tell which were the real phantoms. In the chaos, the phantoms suddenly disappeared and formed a phantom sword, charging at the True Spirit Lord. Lord Spirit Master, Ling Jun shouted when he saw this scene. But facing such a killer move, True Spirit Lord's expression did not change. He was as steady as Mount Tai. Kill! Ling Jun released a killer move, wanting to block the demonic sword formed by the demonic shadow. Boom! Kacha! However, in just one exchange, Ling Jun's killer move was broken by the demonic sword, and he continued to attack True Spirit Lord. Yi Chun and the other two looked at the True Spirit Lord, wanting to see how this old fellow would deal with it. Lord True Spirit opened his eyes and spat out a stream of psionic energy. Next, the psionic energy turned into a sharp sword and shot towards the demonic shadow. Killer move. Boom! With an earth-shattering boom, the spiritual energy swords unleashed by the Lord of True Spirit collided with the Emperor of Hell's killing sword, neutralizing each other before exploding and shattering the void. Seeing this scene, many experts from the True Spirit Palace were amazed. The Spirit Lord is too strong. He can actually spit out sword chi. Without the foundation of an immortal, it's impossible to successfully use such a divine ability. How can this demonic shadow fight against it? The Spirit Lord is too strong. Many True Spirit Palace experts marveled at the True Spirit Lord's strength. Yi Chun's eyes focused as his mind kept replaying the scene before. The entire process of the True Spirit Lord releasing the Spirit Swords appeared in Yi Chun's mind. To ordinary people, these divine abilities and secret techniques were incomparably fast and could not be recalled at all. However, Yi Chun could see everything clearly with his fiery eye. Through analyzing this information, Yi Chun could better understand the true strength of the True Spirit Lord. The ***. The demonic shadow was repeatedly destroyed by the true Spirit Lord. The Emperor of Hell's specter roared again and again, his powerful strength shaking everyone's heart. Kill. At this moment, several true Spirit Palace experts released their entanglement power. The nether energy in their bodies awakened, fusing with their own psionic energy, and their strength broke through the limit. While the Emperor of Hell Spectre was shocked, several true Spirit Palace experts had already arrived in front of him. Kill. Unleashing their murderous intent, these experts released their great divine abilities and surrounded the Emperor of Hell Spectre. Under the fierce attack of these experts, the Emperor of Hell Spectre was at a disadvantage. You can fuse the nether water energy and achieve a breakthrough in your strength. The Spectre immediately realized that the source of these people's power was the nether water energy. Kill, kill, kill. These experts went berserk. Their power surged and their attacks were chaotic, but the increase in strength was obvious. Clang, clang, clang. Soon, the Spectre's body continued to collapse, and the demon core gradually revealed itself. Just when everyone was about to destroy the demon core, suddenly, a huge dark hand reached out from the sky and snatched the demon core. The true Spirit Lord looked at the clouds in the sky coldly and pointed with his finger. Swish! The sword energy soared into the sky. Its power did not decrease, and it heavily injured the dark hand in the sky. Ugh! With a cry of pain, Hei Tong lost an arm on the spot. Hei Tong, who was in extreme pain, forcefully absorbed the power of the demon core and hid in the Emperor of Hell Mountain. He sent all the information back to Taoist Baizhu. Ha! People of the spiritual realm, how dare you invade my underworld? You will die without a burial. Taoist Baizhu transmitted his voice from 1,000 miles away and faced the true Spirit Lord. Fools like you dare to block this Spirit Lord's path? Die! The true Spirit Lord was enraged. His powerful spiritual energy returned from 1,000 miles away and locked onto Taoist Baizhu's figure. Swish, swish, swish. A sword energy shot out from the true Spirit Lord's body and disappeared into the clouds. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The sword energy bounced back and forth, but it had already locked onto Taoist Baizhu, who was 1,000 miles away. It was a move meant to kill from 1,000 miles away. 1,000 miles away, Taoist Baizhu still wanted to intimidate the people of the true Spirit Hall. He led the experts of the outpost and prepared to kill the true Spirit Lord. Swish! At this moment, a sword energy shot down from the clouds above and went straight for Taoist Baizhu. Taoist Baizhu turned pale with fright. He had never thought that the true Spirit Lord could release such a precise sword energy from 1,000 miles away. Caught off guard, the sword energy pierced through. Taoist Baizhu dodged instinctively, but blood flowed from his shoulder. Elder Baizhu, shaken, everyone went up to show their concern. Don't move. Taoist Baizhu yelled in anger with a shocked expression. Yes. Everyone stepped back. The underworld power surged around Taoist Baizhu, and a powerful force surged through his meridians. Boom! With a loud sound, Taoist Baizhu's blood spurted out again. Along with the blood, a sword energy shot out. Kacha, kacha, kacha! The sword energy was forced out of his body and instantly broke through a mountain peak with unparalleled power. Chapter 1963. He hid his aura from 1,000 miles away, but he was still discovered. Elder Baizhu's entire body was bleeding profusely as he struggled to stand up. He could feel the power of the true Spirit Lord. This was definitely not an ordinary expert, but a true master of destiny. The Netherworld Emperor Mountain Range can't be lost. Follow me. Yes. Although he recognized the strength of his opponent, as the person appointed by Hell Sovereign, he had to complete his mission. There were countless secrets that he had to protect in the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range. This was an important place in the Underworld. Under Taoist Baizhu's lead, countless Netherworld warriors flew rapidly towards the Emperor Netherworld Mountain Range. At the foot of the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range, the Lord of True Spirit revealed a bloodthirsty smile as he looked in the direction of Taoist Baiju. What a bunch of stupid ants. As soon as he finished speaking, Lord True Spirit didn't care about their arrival at all, and he led them into the depths of the Emperor Netherworld mountain range. At this moment, all kinds of information about the True Spirit Palace's invasion of the Underworld Emperor mountain range had been transmitted to the core of the Underworld Lord Palace. Here, several Underworld Emperors were having a discussion. I didn't expect the True Spirit Palace to really dare to cause trouble in our territory. Yuang spoke in a low voice. It looks like the core of the three realms has been exposed. Emperor Hell said, True Spirit Lord is too confident. Everyone turned to look in the direction of the Underworld Lord Palace, where a majestic figure appeared. It was none other than the Arch-Emperor of the 18 Underworld Emperors. Who would have thought that even the Arch-Emperor would be alerted? With the Arch-Emperor here, not even the Lord of True Spirit will be so terrifying. Everyone was sighing in admiration at how powerful the Arch-Emperor was. It was only natural that he would rise to the highest position in the world. The Netherworld Lord has gone missing, and the Netherworld has fallen. Now is the time for us to rise again. As long as we kill the Lord of True Spirits in the Netherworld, it will definitely be the greatest deterrence to the spiritual realm. At that time, the spiritual realm will fall into chaos, and we will lead the Netherworld warriors to take it down in one fell swoop. Isn't that perfect? The Arch-Emperor is right. After all, whether it was in terms of prestige or strength, the Arch-Emperor was one of the most powerful of the 18 emperors. Now, the True Spirit Lord has locked onto the location of the three realms core and even brought Yi Chun here. It's obvious that he wants to rely on Yi Chun to obtain the energy of the three realms core. This brat Yi Chun actually dares to cause trouble in the Netherworld. If it wasn't for his relationship with the Netherworld Lord, I would have killed him personally. Yuang angrily berated. Our main target is the True Spirit Lord. Although Yi Chun has Ascension Stage cultivation base, he's nothing to worry about. We can't ignore this kid. It's not a coincidence that the True Spirit Lord took a liking to his talent. What's the point of saying all this? The key is to kill the True Spirit Lord immediately. All right, the three emperors agreed that they would personally end the Lord of True Spirit. In the Netherworld Emperor Mountain Range, the Lord of True Spirit led everyone into the mountain range, and under the guidance of the Nether Spirit Pearl, they found the core of the three realms. An ancient and enormous stone gate appeared before them, and it was the entrance to the Netherworld Emperor Mountain Range. Ling Jun walked forward and glared coldly at the stone door in front of him. With a furious roar, Ling Jun channeled pure spiritual energy from his entire body. At the same time, he added the power of the dark water to activate the stone door. Boom! On top of the stone door, there were constant vibrations. Due to the disguise of the power of the dark water, the stone door was unable to determine Ling Jun's identity. Finally, it slowly opened. Enter! At the Lord of True Spirit's command, everyone entered. Yi Chun and the other two observed along the way, communicating with their eyes, ready to deal with any situation. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. After entering the stone door, Yi Chun's mind suddenly had a flash of inspiration, causing his spirit to tremble uneasily. There were even various images appearing in his mind. This strange phenomenon made Yi Chun feel that in this Netherworld Emperor mountain range, there must be some kind of power that was closely related to him. Within the mountain range, dark light flowed, and the density of the dark energy continued to rise. Many spirit realm cultivators gradually felt uncomfortable. Although they had absorbed the power of the dark water, in most sacred mountain range of the Netherworld, they still felt the environment rejecting their bodies. This was also one of the reasons why they wanted to absorb the dark water power. It was not only to obtain stronger power, but also to adapt to the environment. Yi Chun looked at the two people beside him. The Patriarch and Wu Shuang were experiencing adverse reactions at the same time. Fortunately, the Patriarch was born in the 3,000 feet of the Netherworld, which was within the range of the entrance to the Netherworld. In the process of cultivation, he would naturally be contaminated with dark energy. In addition, he cultivated the netherworld Tao and had the smell of the netherworld, so he could barely withstand it. As for Wushuang, he had encountered a big test. His heavenly sword spirit energy was incompatible with the surrounding environment. Wushuang, can you still hold on? Yichen asked. No problem. Wushuang's eyes were resolute. He circulated the heavenly sword qi around his body to resist the invasion of the dark energy. In front, Ling Jun led the way, leading everyone into the mountain range step by step. The space inside the mountain range grew larger as if they had entered a sacred palace, which surprised many spirit realm cultivators. At the periphery of the mountain range, Taoist Baizhu arrived with many netherworld combatants. Oh no, the true spirit lord has entered the netherworld Emperor mountain range. Let's follow quickly. Yes, Taoist Baizhu led dozens of combatants and rushed into the netherworld Emperor mountain range. They followed the aura of the true spirit palace people and moved forward quickly, soon catching up with everyone. True spirit palace trash, stop! Taoist Baizhu shouted angrily. His voice shook the spirit realm people. At the same time, Yichen looked behind and found Taoist Baizhu shouting. D*M*. Hearing Taoist Baizhu shout, Ling Jun was furious and turned to attack Taoist Baizhu. Kill! The combatants around Taoist Baizhu attacked one after another, fighting against Ling Jun. In an instant, the wind and clouds surged as dark energy attacked. In the space, the powerful air pressure caused the surrounding mountain walls to shake at the same time. Rocks fell and shattered into pieces. Netherworld Secret Spell. Taoist Baizhu condensed a seal with his fingers and triggered the netherworld energy in the surrounding space. Instantly, the formations hidden underground were revealed. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Various formations and seals appeared and extended toward the true spirit palace people. Yi Chen's eyes turned cold, and he stomped his foot. Rumble. Instantly, a powerful force swept the entire ground and rushed back toward Taoist Baizhu. Taoist Baizhu was shocked. He did not expect that this person who had just undergone the Ascension Tribulation could produce such powerful dark energy. Boom, boom, boom. Earth-shattering energy exploded. Taoist Baizhu felt that his body was out of control, and he was sent flying hundreds of meters away. Puffed. He spat out a mouthful of blood. His cold eyes locked onto Yi Chun, his heart filled with rage. No matter what, he was in the advanced stage of the Ascension Tribulation and was not far from advancing to great perfection. However, he was sent flying by a person who had just undergone the Ascension Tribulation and spat out blood. This scene was too unreal. Chapter 1964. Who are you? Have you really just entered the Ascension stage? Taoist Baizhu looked at Yi Chun in shock and asked. Of course. This time, Yi Chun did not hide his cultivation base. After all, he had no advantage in terms of cultivation base, so there was no need to hide it. That's impossible. My cultivation base is in the advanced ascension stage, and I'm even about to advance to peak stage. This is the netherworld. Netherworld cultivators have their own environment. How could you send me flying hundreds of meters away? Tell me, did you hide your cultivation base? What a joke. You're not strong enough. Yet you say that the other party is hiding his cultivation base. What's the use of such self-deception? Taoist Baizhu was furious. He did not expect Yi Chun to be so eloquent. He was humiliated. Loli Jr., kneel and spare me your life. Yi Chun replied forcefully, not giving Taoist Baizhu any chance to regain his dignity. D*M*. Taoist Baizhu was truly enraged this time. As a cultivator, being called a junior was the greatest humiliation. He could not take it when he saw how young Yi Chun was. Die. He flew out and merged his cultivation base into his palms. At the same time, he kept absorbing the underworld energy in his surroundings. He swore to kill the person in front of him. Trash! Yi Chun shouted coldly and grabbed with his 5 fingers. Immediately, an invisible force swept through the air. Ancient god power was hidden within it. Rumble. Instantly, an energy whirlpool swept through the sky, and Daoist Baiju, who was flying over, was caught in it. Huh. Daoist Baiju felt that he had lost control of his body. He was like a kite with a broken string, drifting with the waves. No! A tragic cry shook the space, shocking countless netherworld cultivators. Subsequently, they saw Daoist Baiju's body being tossed around in the huge whirlpool, eventually disappearing without a trace. What's that? Daoist Baiju, a man in the advanced ascension stage, was killed in an instant. Who is this person? He's unbelievable. These netherworld cultivators were all powerhouses. The weakest among them was at peak stage. Naturally, they knew how difficult it was to kill an expert like Daoist Baiju in an instant. However, the young man before them had easily triggered an indescribable whirlpool and killed Daoist Baiju. Do you still want to die? Yi Chun turned to look at the many underworld combatants and asked angrily. These people did not know what to do. They were here on the orders of the Hell Emperor. If they turned back, they would die. However, the person in front of them was not even weaker than the Hell Emperor. This was too terrifying. Go back and tell that old Hell Emperor to advise him not to come here, to throw his life away. Yes. Hearing this, many powerhouses knew that Yi Chun did not want to kill them, so they nodded and left the Emperor Abyss Mountain Range. Ha. Seeing this, Lord True Spirit laughed loudly. Yi Chun is indeed a genius among geniuses. He's only at the beginner stage ascension stage, but he managed to unleash power that's on par with the Mahayana stage. Amazing. Oh, I didn't expect to be praised by the Lord of True Spirit. Yi Chun turned his head slightly to look at the True Spirit Lord. Very good. Since the trouble has been solved, let's move on. The Lord of True Spirit didn't say anything more. He turned around and led the group forward. Yi Chun's action was to let those powerhouses report back so that the Hell Emperor would come here and mess up the situation. Only then would he be able to achieve his goal of looking for Su Yuhan. Everyone continued forward and entered the depths of the mountain range. The deeper they went, the more they felt the immense pressure of the netherworld energy. This pressure increased abnormally fast, and many spirit realm cultivators had reached their limit. Spirit Lord, many cultivators can't hold on any longer. Trash! The Lord of True Spirit scolded angrily. However, this was the truth. He could not let these people continue forward and die. It was meaningless. All of you stay here and guard. Thank you, Spirit Lord. Many powerhouses bowed and stayed behind to guard. The Lord of True Spirit led Yi Chun and the others forward. The light of the underworld spirit pearl burned brightly again. It seemed like it would find its target soon. Ha. Seeing the underworld spirit pearl's reaction, the Lord of True Spirit was very happy. Clack. Everyone moved faster. Yi Chun watched as the Patriarch and Wu Shuang became strained. Yi Chun frowned, and 2 golden pills appeared in his hand. Patriarch Wu Shuang, swallow it. All right. The Grand Elder and Wu Shuang swallowed the golden elixir at the same time. Immediately, waves of spiritual energy flowed into their meridians, especially to protect their heart meridians. In this way, they could rely on their own cultivation to resist the increasingly harsh environment. Ha. I'm energetic again. After swallowing the golden pills, the Patriarch took out his wine gourd and drank a mouthful. He was 100 times more energetic. I'm fine too, Wu Shuang said. Very well, let's go. The 3 of them followed the Lord of True Spirit's group. When they reached a valley, they saw a huge crack in front of them. Lord True Spirit walked in front of the crack and saw the scene below with a single glance. He threw the underworld spirit pearl, and the pearl reacted strongly. It's below, the Lord of True Spirit said. What are we waiting for? Yi Chun said. Oh, I didn't expect you to be so enthusiastic. I just don't want to waste time. After we're done here, bring me to Yuhan immediately. Haha, no problem. The Lord of True Spirit agreed, but he had other plans. He wasn't the only one who had other plans. Yi Chun knew very well that if he did not hold the Lord of True Spirit's lifeline, how could he help him find Yuhan? Only by turning the tables could he achieve his goal. Whoosh. The group descended 9,000 miles and rushed toward the crack. Whoosh. After descending 1,000 feet, a hurricane suddenly swept across like a raging sea, shocking everyone. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Soon, the hurricane was like a blade, cutting everyone's bodies. Many of those whose cultivation base was not strong enough were bleeding all over. Be careful, Yichen shouted at the patriarch and Wu Shuang. No problem. The three of them looked at each other, then channeled their spiritual power together to form a protective energy shield. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The hurricane swept over and hit the protective energy shield, but it did not have any effect at all. However, the true Spirit Palace's powerhouses were not so lucky. 5 or 6 of them were torn apart by the hurricane, their bones and flesh separated. Many experts revealed looks of horror. Their dark water power seemed to have no effect on this astral wind. Spirit Lord. The Lord of True Spirit scoffed. Energy erupted from his body and turned into a huge energy shield, covering everyone's bodies. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The group flew down quickly. After the hurricane, countless gravel came attacking, its power even stronger than the hurricane. Chapter 1965. A violent force swept through the entire descending space. Countless gravel swept past the crowd with the force of blade. They had no direction and no target. They were purely destructive. Screams could be heard from time to time. Many true Spirit Palace combatants who were unable to adapt to the falling process were hit by this destructive force. Yichun sensed his surroundings and soon discovered that although the gravel looked messy, it contained an exquisite law. This law was the most brilliant aspect of the person who built this stone formation. Yichun, did you see anything? Lord True Soul asked. Lord True Soul, you're an immortal stage combatant. Do you still need to ask me? Yichun asked. I'm afraid you have more secrets than I do, right? Yichun looked at Lord True Soul. Did he see something? Yichun was confident that Lord True Soul could not see through his identity as an almighty. However, Lord True Soul did have some secrets. He must have seen something that ordinary people did not. Moreover, Lord True Soul's question was obviously hinting for Yichun to show off. In that case, Yichun would not hold back. With a shout, he twirled his fingers in the air. Suddenly, waves of sword chi began to rotate in the air. The exquisite sword chi surprised many experts of the true Spirit Palace. Usually, sword energy moved in a straight line. The sword energy released by combatants could be like flowing light. However, it was many people's first time seeing sword energy automatically spinning in the air. Although some of them were high-level Ascension stage combatants, they could not control sword energy like Yichun. Moreover, they saw that Yichun was doing as he pleased without any difficulty at all, which shocked them even more. This kid is really hard to understand. His control of sword energy has reached the point of perfection. It's incomparably exquisite. Many true Spirit Palace Ascension stage combatants were impressed. Yichun looked around. His eyes flashed and locked on to the core of the Tempest-crushing formation. Sword energy whirlpool, go! Waving his finger, sword chi flew out and turned into a tornado, descending from the sky. Roar! The sword energy broke through countless gravel and rushed toward the core of the formation like a roaring dragon. Boom, boom, boom. However, at this moment, the formation sensed the destructive intent of the sword chi and actually countered it. Countless gravel turned into rocks under the influence of the strong wind. They charged at Yichun while emitting a chilling aura. The people from the True Spirit Palace dodged when they saw this, completely exposing Yichun to the rock giant's attack range. It's actually the actions of a despicable person. Ridiculous, the old ancestor shouted. However, the True Spirit Palace powerhouses ignored the patriarch's evaluation. They looked at Yichun with a sneer, as if they were waiting for a good show. Facing the attitude of those experts, the old ancestor sneered. Such a situation is not a problem at all for fellow cultivator Yi. If you want to watch a good show, just save it. Haha, the Patriarch of Hell, don't speak too early. Although Yichun is powerful, he's just a person who has just undergone the Ascension Tribulation. I think the Tempest formation below is most likely designed by an itinerant immortal. How can he win? That's right, the Patriarch of Hell. You guys are together, so of course you'll speak up for him. However, I think Yi-chan is in trouble this time. Ha ha ha, wait for your death. The people from the True Spirit Palace revealed a sinister expression. They really hoped that Yi-chan would die here. However, the True Spirit Lord looked coldly in Yi-chan's direction without saying a word. He did not want Yi-chan to die here, because Yi-chan was shouldering the great task of being the core of the three realms. Of course, Yi-chan knew the True Spirit Lord's intention very well. However, the Tempest formation before him was indeed a good trial. Those useless powerhouses were right. This formation was designed by an immortal. To break the formation, Yi-chan had to possess the power of the natural order of an immortal. This was Yi-chan's biggest test. Flaming golden pupil. The chaotic world before him collapsed, and all kinds of fog obscured his vision. Yi-chan stood alone in the core of the gale. His eyes emitted a fiery light that spanned 1,000 miles. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The true Samadhi fire burned fiercely, resisting the stones and the gale. Rumble. At this moment, the rock giant sensed that Yi-chan wanted to attack the core of the formation. He was instantly enraged and waved his mountain-like arm toward Yi-chan. Such terrifying power. Everyone was shocked. This rock giant was no ordinary giant. His energy core was operated by the immortal formation below. Therefore, this rock giant was using immortal techniques to fight Yi-chan. Ordinary people who had undergone heavenly retribution could not possibly be a match for this giant. Coupled with the additional effect of the Tempest rock formation below, no one believed that Yi-chan could block this attack. Moreover, once he dodged, he would definitely be attacked by the surrounding rock formation and the Tempest rock formation. Facing a three-pronged attack would be even more dangerous. It seemed like Yi-chan was in a dilemma that could not be solved. Ha ha ha, Yi-chan, this brat. We'll teach him a lesson. Let's see how he breaks the formation this time. In such a dilemma, no one can give a perfect answer. Wait for him to beg us. Many true Spirit Palace powerhouses were waiting for Yi-chan to beg for their help. However, what they saw was that even the Patriarch of Hell and Yi Wushuang did not move. They even looked confident, which made the true Spirit Palace powerhouses feel strange. You trust Yi-chan so much? Your vision is too shallow. It's impossible for you to see Yi-chan's potential. The Patriarch of Hell snorted coldly with a smug look on his face. This made the true Spirit Palace powerhouses very unhappy. They were waiting to see Yi-chan make a fool of himself. They would never acknowledge Yi-chan's strength. Otherwise, where would the true Spirit Palace's dignity be? At this moment, the rock giant was surrounded by immortal light. He swung his powerful fist as if it could crush everything. Roar! Suddenly, the space-time fury appeared behind Yi-chan. It roared at the front, and the space-time energy swept across the place. The space-time energy instantly made the rock giant's body stagnate. He felt that he could not unleash his immense power. Kacha, kacha, kacha! The space-time energy twisted the world. The rock giant seemed to have entered an extremely stagnant world. No matter how powerful he was, he could not shake Yi-chan. Still not broken? Yi-chan looked at the rock giant coldly. The space-time fury energy twisted the space-time again. The huge rock giant's body was forcefully twisted and kept shattering. Seeing such a shocking scene, countless true Spirit Palace powerhouses were dumbfounded. Chapter 1966. What happened? How did he fight the rock giant? Isn't this phenomenon too heaven-defying? Everyone stared at the rock giant. They saw his body constantly twisting, as if he was being crushed by some incomparably powerful force. No one could explain what was happening. Break! As Yi-chan shouted, the rock giant's arm broke and shattered like a heavenly emperor's order. Boom, boom, boom. After the rock giant's arm broke, it turned into countless rocks and fell. The people from the True Spirit Palace were greatly shocked and dodged. Roar! With one arm broken, the rock giant roared furiously. His eyes were shooting out a real roar at Yi-chan. Yi-Chun stood alone in the air and faced the enraged rock giant. Thud, thud, thud. The rock giant charged at Yi-Chun in a frenzy. The fury in his eyes seemed to be burning the entire sky. The immortal power gathered on his body was completely unsealed. The rock giant had entered the second stage. Rumble. The rock giant used his body to fight Yi-Chun. Heavenly Emperor Sword. Yi-Chun shouted at that moment. Sword Spirit Gleam was released from Yi Wushuang's eyes. The sword spirit gleam consolidated into the Heavenly Emperor sword in Yi-Chun's hand. Slash. The Heavenly Emperor sword slashed. Sword spirit chi soared into the sky and turned into a powerful, slashing gleam. Roar. The rock giant used his other arm to smash at Yi-Chun. It split mountains and rocks, shaking the land. Swoosh. At that moment, the Heavenly Emperor sword's power exploded. The sword gleam flew onto the rock giant's arm. Die. The rock giant let out a murderous roar, wanting to kill Yi-Chun in one strike. However, just when he was waving his arm and waiting for Yi-Chun to arrive, the sound of sword energy echoed everywhere. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Subsequently, countless sword gleams exploded from the rock giant's arm. His huge arm was like an explosive bag that was about to explode. Sparks filled the sky. Following that, the arm was completely shattered. The rock giant's arms were crippled, so he went even crazier. He wanted to hit Yi-Chun with his head. You're asking for death. Die. Yi-Chun was furious. He slashed the Heavenly Emperor sword in his hand. Boom, boom, boom. The sword light streaked across the sky, and then countless energy blasts blasted the rock giant's neck. In the end, a fiery arc appeared on the rock giant's neck. It was like a cutting halo, extremely dazzling. Boom! Then, the rock giant's huge head was sliced off its neck. Every part of his body turned into rock fragments and fell into the abyss. Everything was over. Yi-Chun broke the immortal spell. That was the first thing that the true Spirit Palace powerhouses thought of. Yi-Chun had broken through the rock giant formed by an immortal technique with his cultivation base that had just entered the tribulation stage. It was too unreal. Seeing Yi-Chun shattering the rock giant, even the true Spirit Lord was in disbelief. Initially, he thought that Yi-Chun would be considered good if he could fight the rock giant for a few rounds. This kind of talent already met the requirements for him to open the core of the three realms. However, Yi-Chun had completely crushed the rock giant. This kind of talent made him feel uneasy. This person can help me, but at the same time, he is also a great threat to me. Lord True Spirit muttered to himself. Following the explosion of the rock giant, the entire Tempest rock formation fell into silence. Many True Spirit Palace powerhouses looked at Yi-Chun with awe in their eyes. It was extremely dangerous for any of them to face the rock giant alone. No one dared to do that. However, Yi-Chun had completely crushed the rock giant with his own strength. This was too shocking. Ha ha! Fellow Yi, congratulations, congratulations! The patriarch laughed and went forward to congratulate Yi-Chun. It's just a small matter. You don't have to be so happy. Yi-Chun said. The patriarch turned to look at the True Spirit Palace. Many powerhouses had already turned to look in other directions, not wanting to make a fool of themselves. Where are those who questioned Fellow Yi before? Why are they all cowards now? Ha ha ha, what a joke. The great patriarch's words were like needles stabbing into the hearts of the self-righteous powerhouses. However, they had underestimated Yi-Chun. His strength was far beyond their imagination. Don't be arrogant, Patriarch Hell. So what? Here, the True Spirit Palace is still the leader. Only the Spirit Lord is the strongest person. Ha ha! You made a fool of yourself, and now you're using the True Spirit Lord as a scapegoat? Those powerhouses glared at the Patriarch angrily. His words had already crossed their bottom line. Stop arguing. Initially, the True Spirit Lord was also very angry. However, he still needed Yi-Chun to deal with the core of the three realms, so he did not attack the Patriarch. After the rock giant was destroyed, the path ahead was much smoother. There were almost no obstacles. Descend. Yes. Under the True Spirit Lord's command, everyone from the True Spirit Palace descended. At this moment, the scene in the abyss below became much clearer. There was an altar below with an energy core spinning on it. This core contained immortal techniques. Immortal technique protection. This is it. The true Spirit Lord was very happy. Immortal technique protection of this level proved that the core of the three realms was here. Dong, dong, dong. Everyone descended one after another and looked at the altar before them. On the altar, various patterns flowed. These patterns contained the power of immortal techniques. Only real immortals could clearly see the true meaning within. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The true Spirit Lord opened his immortal eye and observed the immortal techniques setup. The power of the immortal techniques was too strong. If he did not control it well, no one here would survive except him. Therefore, he had to carefully deal with the immortal formation before him. Yi Chen's eyes were sharp as he looked at the patterns. Instantly, countless patterns burrowed into his mind. The true meaning of the various patterns jumped out automatically. He did not even need to comprehend it to fully understand it. I didn't expect these immortal techniques to be able to stimulate my immortal memories. Yi Chen was also very curious about this, but it was naturally beneficial to him. Yi Chen stored the immortal technique patterns in the ancient god space. This way, he was not afraid that these immortal techniques would riot and destroy his consciousness. The true Spirit Lord had already begun to activate the formation. He wanted to form some kind of connection with the altar before him, and even wanted to decipher the immortal technique core before him. Very good. Suddenly, greed appeared in the true Spirit Lord's eyes. He had already deciphered the meaning of these immortal techniques, and began to fuse these patterns into his own immortal technique system. How exquisite! Ha ha ha! Chapter 1967. While Lord True Soul was absorbing the immortal techniques, Yi Chen was also constantly studying these patterns and using them for his own use. In fact, Yi Chen could feel that as he absorbed and refined the patterns, the power of these patterns was rapidly decreasing. This meant that the total amount of immortal power in the altar was fixed. Since he and the true Spirit Lord were comprehending this immortal power at the same time, there would naturally be a competition. Space-time Fury. Yi Chen secretly activated the Space-time Fury. Instantly, countless immortal techniques were swallowed into the ancient god space. The ancient god space, which was the existence of the Panga divinity, was almost infinite. This way, Yi Chen did not need to fully comprehend them and could directly absorb these immortal techniques into the ancient god space. Moreover, he was absorbing them through space-time fury. It could be said that he would not leave any traces. Lord True Soul was a powerful figure. Naturally, he noticed that the amount of immortal techniques was rapidly decreasing. He looked around and saw that everyone was looking at the altar. He could not see who was absorbing the power at all. Of course, the biggest suspect was naturally Yi Chen, because Lord True Soul knew very well that the so-called combatants of the True Spirit Palace could not comprehend immortal techniques. However, Lord True Soul did not believe that Yi Chen, who was only at the tribulation stage, could comprehend the exquisite immortal techniques before him. Yi Chen, are you comprehending these immortal techniques? To be safe, he still asked Yi Chen. Immortal techniques? What immortal techniques? Yi Chen responded with a sneer. Lord True Soul looked at Yi Chen's eyes and could not see any flaws. Yi Chen's body did not even move. How could he absorb these immortal techniques? He fell into a daze, but seeing that the immortal techniques were decreasing, Lord True Soul had no time to deal with Yi Chen. He could only turn around and frantically absorb these immortal techniques. Although Lord True Soul's cultivation level was far above Yi Chen's, Yi Chen had used space-time fury to absorb immortal techniques into the ancient god space. The absorption speed and storage space were unlimited. No matter how strong Lord True Soul was, he still needed to comprehend and refine them. This would waste too much time, and he was no match for Yi Chen. Yi Chen looked at Lord True Soul with a sneer. He thought that if this old man knew that he was using this method to absorb immortal techniques, he might explode. Hiss. Countless immortal techniques were like ice and snow. The space-time fury was like the sun, melting the ice and snow and drinking the water. Such a powerful immortal technique surged into the ancient god space, putting a lot of pressure on Yi-chun. Who is it? Lord True Spirit roared as his immortal force surged in all directions. Boom, boom, boom. The surrounding space shook intensely. Then, countless mountain rocks rolled down from high above. The powerful aura shocked the surrounding people. Spirit Lord, what's going on? Ling Jun stepped forward and asked. Someone is absorbing the altar's celestial art at an extremely fast speed. The Spirit Lord said, there's someone who can absorb immortal arts faster than the Spirit Lord. This person is naturally not faster than me, but I don't want him to waste my celestial technique. Yi-chun sneered inwardly. The true Spirit Lord was lying to save face. In fact, Yi-chun's rate of absorbing immortal techniques was more than 100 times faster than Lord True Spirit. Lord True Spirit needed to comprehend before absorbing, but Yi-chun did not need to do so at all because he had the ancient god space. At this moment, the sky was shrouded in dark clouds. Powerful demonic energy swept across the land. Everyone looked up at the sky. They knew that the true masters of the underworld had arrived. Ha ha ha! As the wild laughter continued to erode everyone's eardrums, they saw a huge demonic shadow descending. This demonic figure was covered in flames. It was a huge dog deity. Dog Sovereign. Yi-chun recognized this person at a glance. The incident with Su Yuhan was still vivid in his mind. The Dog Sovereign was one of the 18 emperors of the underworld that Su Yuhan had told Yi-chun about. Yi-chun, I didn't expect you to personally come to the underworld. Are you looking for Su Yuhan? Unfortunately, Su Yuhan is the lord of the underworld. She's not your wife. Be asterisk starred. Yi-chun was enraged that someone dared to use Su Yuhan as a joke. Heavenly Emperor Sword slash. Without mercy, the Heavenly Emperor's sword spirit hovered above Yi-chun's head. With a wave of his sword finger, sword energy soared into the sky and went straight for the Dog Sovereign. Ha ha ha. Seeing how angry Yi-chun was, the Dog Sovereign felt that his words were very interesting. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. However, facing Yi-chun's Heavenly Emperor Sword Spirit, the Dog Sovereign did not dare to be careless. He waved his sharp claws. Instantly, several cold gleams descended and attacked the Heavenly Emperor Sword Spirit. The Heavenly Emperor Sword Spirit's body emitted a supreme light. When the sharp claws came into contact with this light, they began to collapse. Hiss, hiss, hiss. These rays contained the extreme power of the ancient god. How could the underworld energy block them? In just a few short years, you've become so powerful. The Dog Sovereign still remembered the information from the underworld's investigation. Yi-chun was merely a soul-forming stage cultivator, but now he was looking at a passing calamity almighty. Furthermore, his hidden strength was far above the passing calamity stage. As expected of the lord of the underworld's man. Die. As one of the 18 sovereigns of the underworld, the Dog Sovereign naturally could not be defeated like this. He unleashed all the power in his body. He was a great perfection tribulation stage cultivator. Dog Sovereign, you want to kill me with such a cultivation base? What do you think? You're asking for death. Yi-chun shouted angrily. Anyone who dare to make fun of Su Yuhan must die. Rumble. A deafening rumble came from behind him. The formless space and time turned tangible. The surrounding space was swept up by an irresistible gale and waves. The gale was formed by Yi-chun's ancient god power. Thunderstrike. Yi-chun's eyes emitted lightning. He had completely refined the tribulation lightning that he had absorbed during the Ascension Tribulation. This was the right time to use it. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Lightning flashed. Yi-chun stepped on the divine lightning and went straight for the Dog Sovereign. What? The Dog Sovereign was shocked. The divine lightning was his nemesis. His face was extremely twisted as he transformed into the form of a dog. Dog Sovereign form. In his battle form, the Dog Sovereign's power increased by more than 10 times. His foundation was already at the edge of the Mahayana stage. Ha ha! I'm using the foundation of the Mahayana stage to fight you. Yi-chun, your death is near. The Mahayana stage? Ha ha ha! Yichen laughed maniacally. I don't even care if you're an itinerant immortal. A mere Mahayana stage cultivator die. Nonsense. Naturally, the dog sovereign did not believe that a mere tribulation stage cultivator could cause any damage to his Mahayana stage foundation. His face was filled with confidence as he laughed maniacally. He was going to eat Yi Chen's flesh. He wanted Yi Chen to die in front of him. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The dog sovereign's body moved rapidly. It was so fast that it could not be seen. Yi Chen did not expect the dog sovereign to be so fast. He frowned and his eyes shone brightly. Samadhi, true fire, divine lightning of tribulation. The divine lightning of tribulation and divine lightning of tribulation were activated at the same time. At this moment, Yi Chen was the ruler. Chapter 1968. In the blink of an eye, Yi Chen had already arrived beside the Hound King. The divine thunder of heavenly tribulation and the true Samadhi fire had completely sealed off the Hound King's escape route. This was Yi Chen's plan. No matter how fast the Hound King was, it would not be able to escape from Yi Chen's thunder and fire. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Soon, the Hound King's burning fur betrayed its position in the space. Kill. The power of thunder and fire condensed into the shape of a spear and rushed toward the Hound King. Yi Chen. The Hound King was enraged when its fur was ignited by the thunder and fire. Its face revealed a dog's head, like the god of death in the desert, baring its fangs and madly rushing forward. Clang, clang, clang. The Hound King used its sharp claws to repel Yi Chen's sword energy. At the same time, it grabbed the Thunder Fire Divine Spear with both hands. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The Thunder Fire Divine Spear was affected by Yi Chen's command and began to spin. The Hound King's palm was in intense pain and blood flowed out. When did you become so powerful? Impossible. How can an ant's vision be able to measure the heavens? Yi Chen flew up to the sky. The heavenly emperor's light appeared behind him. It was majestic and dazzling. Although everyone felt the majesty of this image, no one knew what it was. No one had seen a real heavenly emperor. Even the Lord of True Spirit was shocked by the image behind Yi Chen. The asterisk eminent. The Hound King was enraged by Yi Chen. Shiny fur began to grow all over its body. These fur were not afraid of thunder and fire. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The Hound King moved in a flash and went straight for Yi Chen. Its speed increased. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Yi Chen felt the Hound King's sharp claws whistling beside him. He could even hear the sound of the wind from the Hound King's claws on his face. Oh, entering the alternate space? He immediately realized that the Hound King had used a secret technique of the underworld to enter the alternate space to ambush him. Entering the alternate space was the strongest movement technique because it could attack from different directions. It could even move to any location in the alternate space. It was very difficult to defend against such an attack. The Hound Emperor of the Underworld already has the foundation of the Mahayana stage. Yi Chen is in danger by using the Underworld special technique to enter the alternate space. That's right. Although Yi Chen's talent is unparalleled, his cultivation base is only at the beginner tribulation stage after all. It'll be difficult for him to defeat the Hound King. Moreover, we're in the underworld and the Hound King is fighting on its home ground. There's a difference in foundation and all sorts of conditions that are disadvantageous to Yi Chen. It's difficult. In such a dangerous situation, is the Spirit Lord not going to help? Many true Spirit Palace powerhouses thought that Yi Chen would not be able to last more than a few rounds and his life might be in danger. In this operation, everyone could see that Yi Chen was very important to obtaining the core of the three realms. They were all waiting for the true Spirit Lord to save Yi Chen. But the Lord of True Spirit didn't move, watching with interest. Everyone shook their heads and waited for Yi Chen to be defeated. Huh, how could a bunch of rabble know fellow Taoist Yesmite? Hearing the discussions of the True Spirit Hall's people, the old ancestor said unhappily, Old ancestor, why do we need to care about this group of idiots? It's fine as long as we know master strength. Wu Shuang also followed and said, Ha, that's right. The old ancestor laughed. Ha, old ancestor hell, you're too confident. The gap between Yi Chun and the Hound Emperor's strength is obvious. That's right. Old Ancestor Hell. You can't save Yi Chun even if you protect him. I think you should hurry up and help him. That's right. It's not a bad idea to die together. We'll settle your funeral together. A few true Spirit Palace powerhouses came forward and mocked them rudely. Ha! Since you're so confident that Yi Chun will die, why don't we make a bet? Oh, hearing that there was a bet, everyone came forward. My underworld sword is a spirit artifact. Who's willing to bet with your spirit artifact? Spirit artifact? Are you serious? Spirit artifacts are forged from the essence of heaven and earth. What about your broken sword? Someone showed a look of distrust. Why don't you try? All right. That person took the underworld sword and wanted to use it, but suddenly a powerful underworld sword chi erupted from the sword. His face instantly turned pale because he felt a strong, killing intent. All right, we believe you, that person said quickly. The others heard what he said and did not doubt him. Bet your spirit artifact. I have a few other treasures here. I'll bet them with you. Sure, you think I'm afraid of you? Many true Spirit Palace powerhouses placed their spirit artifacts and looked at the battlefield. At this time, the Dog King was attacking crazily. Yi Chun's figure flashed, and he kept dodging. The Dog King's figure suddenly disappeared. Ha! The alternate space ambush killing technique. Yi Chun is dead. Some powerhouses actually recognized the secret technique used by the Dog King. This was because the true Spirit Palace had been studying the Nether Purgatory's secret techniques for 1,000 years to prepare for their invasion. Among them, the 18 Emperor's martial arts were naturally the focus. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The Dog King's figure disappeared and could not be locked on. Yi Chun stood in the void and looked around, but did not find the Dog King. Very good. He closed his eyes. Do you really think you're a powerhouse with your eyes closed? Ha ha ha. With digging your own grave. Many powerhouses thought that Yi Chun was thinking too much. After entering the alternate space, even the Dog King's voice disappeared. It was impossible to find his location just by listening. The Patriarch and Yi Wushuang did not panic at all. They watched calmly, waiting for the result that would shock these idiots. There would not be any accidents because the person fighting was called Yi Chun. Yi Chun closed his eyes, and his body fell into a state of darkness. Although it looked like he did not do anything and closed his eyes, in reality, there were flames burning in his eyes. The golden flame pupil had long been activated. Under the burning of a samadhi true fire, Yi Chun's eyes could see through the boundaries of space. After all, the space-time wrath was an expert in the space rule. The Dog King's use of the alternate space to ambush him was like a child's play in front of an expert. The space-time wrath and Yi Chun's psyche union, in addition to the golden flame pupil, could easily see through the Dog King's tricks. Ha ha! Suddenly, a sneer came from the void. This was the Dog King's method to intimidate Yi Chun's psyche. He wanted Yi Chun's psyche defense to collapse because he had used this method to kill countless powerhouses. Yi Chun, you can't find me anymore. Even if I speak, you can't accurately determine my location because I've entered the alternate space that you can't lock onto. I can see you, but you can't see me. You can't even sense my energy. How long do you think you can live? I don't know how long I can live, and I'm not interested in knowing. But I know that you only have 10 seconds left to live. Chapter 1969. 10. Suddenly, Yi Chun said the first number. Everyone was stunned. They thought that Yi Chun was just putting on an act. They did not expect him to really be counting numbers. This was not normal. Ha ha! Does this kid really think he can win? The funny thing is that he's really counting numbers. Killing the Dog King with 10? Is this a joke? It's not a joke. It's a fantasy. Ha ha ha! The crowd burst into laughter, mocking Yi Chun. The Patriarch of Hell looked disdainful. He was not worried about the safety of his spirit artifact at all, because he had never lost betting on Yi Chun. On the battlefield, facing the Dog King's alternate space killing technique, Yi Chun stood alone as if he was purposely being the opponent's target. To ordinary people, it was simply a way to save face. 9. However, at this moment, Yi Chun's second number appeared. In the alternate space, The Dog King's expression became serious because he could see the seriousness in Yi Chen's behavior. Yi Chen was definitely not joking. He was really shouting the number. Damn it. Does this kid really want to kill me within 10? Ha ha ha. Ridiculous, ridiculous. I'll be in this alternate space. Let's see how you're going to end up after 10. The Dog King thought that he was very smart. This method was foolproof, and Yi Chen would definitely not be able to kill him within 10. Everyone looked at the battlefield and found that not only did the Dog King disappear without a trace, but it also did not appear. What does the Dog King mean? Could it be that it's afraid of Yi Chen? That shouldn't be. The Dog King is someone with the foundation of Mahayana stage. It's impossible for it to be afraid of Yi Chen. While the crowd was discussing, someone suddenly figured it out. Haha, I know. The Dog King's trick is very sneaky. What does it mean? Everyone gathered around, wanting to get to the bottom of it. Yi Chen said he would kill the Dog King within 10, but the Dog King is hidden in its own alternate space. If Yi Chen finishes counting to 10, won't he be slapping his own face? That's right, that's right. The people of the underworld are really sneaky. Haha, but this is good too. We can win back our treasures. Everyone looked at Patriarch Yellow Spring with a mocking expression. This time, even the Patriarch of Hell was a little upset. After all, according to these people, if the Dog Emperor really hid in his own space and refused to come out, would Yi Chen really have no way to deal with it? The Patriarch looked at Wu Shuang, but the latter seemed to believe in Yi Chen. Old Ancestor, don't worry. Since Master said to kill them within 10 numbers, then it will be 10 numbers. Why would I worry? I'm just drinking some wine. The Old Ancestor quickly took out his wine gourd and drank a mouthful. He was really a little nervous. After all, he was betting all of his wealth. However, when the Patriarch recalled Yi Chen's various miraculous performances, he still acknowledged Yi Chen. He only hoped that Yi Chen would kill the Hound Emperor quickly so that he could win the bet. At that moment, Yi Chen did not move on the battlefield. He merely uttered the third number 8. Ha ha ha. At that moment, the voice of the Dog King came from the void. Yi Chen, you're too confident. I can rely on the foreign space to kill and assassinate you, but I have a new interest. I want to see how you kill me within 10 numbers. How ridiculous, but it's also very interesting. Yi Chen, every time you say the number, you're counting down to your life because after 10 numbers, I'll attack and kill you completely. Ha ha. The Dog King's laughter became louder and louder, sending chills down everyone's spine. 7. However, Yi Chen did not move at all. He was only counting. Soon, the number came to the last 3. 3, 2, 1. The moment the word 1 was uttered, the surrounding space instantly froze as if it had fallen into the cycle of time and space. Everyone looked at the scene in front of them in shock, but their bodies seemed to be frozen by something, unable to move. This scene made them incomparably terrified. This was Yi Chen's ancient god space. Before this, Yi Chen had been counting. During this process, others thought that he did nothing, but in reality, Yi Chen had done many things. During this process, due to the Dog King's suspicion, it did not attack Yi Chen. At the same time, it hid in its own foreign space and shouted. These actions gave Yi Chen the opportunity to break through the foreign space. Since the Dog King did not attack, Yi Chen did not need to defend. All he needed to do was to observe the surrounding space for flaws. At the same time, the Dog King would not be able to resist mocking Yi Chen. Because of this, there was a risk of exposing its position. In the end, Yi Chen's golden pupil flame and ancient god power would see through it. Using this time to find the Dog King's true location was Yi Chen's goal. Everything was within Yi Chen's calculations. To be safe, the Dog King did not touch it. Instead, it continued to hide in the foreign space while mocking Yi Chen, allowing Yi Chen to find its true location. Heavenly Emperor's Sword. No mercy. With a shout of no mercy, the Heavenly Emperor's Sword Spirit behind, Yi Chen released Judgment, Sword Chi, and flew out. Everyone watched as the Heavenly Emperor sword flew into the void. They did not know why Yi Chen attacked in that direction. Previously, The Dog King had said that when the number was over, it would be time for him to attack. In this case, releasing the Heavenly Emperor sword was the most unwise choice because it would lose the chance to protect itself. How could they predict Heavenly Emperor Yi Chen's thoughts? Swish! Just when everyone thought that Yi Chen was the most unwise choice and that he might even lose his life because of this reckless action, blood suddenly spurted out from the void. That's blood. Some of the powerhouses with sharp reflexes immediately recognized the thing that appeared in the void. Following that, strange lights kept flashing in the void and the surrounding space shattered. Kacha, kacha, kacha. From a shattered space, a corpse suddenly fell. Dong! As the corpse landed in front of everyone, all the powerhouses were stunned. The corpse before them was the Dog King. The Dog King is dead? Just one strike, 10 numbers? At this moment, all the memories from before replayed in their minds like a movie. Everything was so unreal, but the scene before them was so real. How is this possible? Everyone could not believe what they saw. Ha ha! As expected of my chosen one. At this moment, the true spirit lord laughed a few times, his face filled with excitement. The Dog King is dead. At this moment, in the void, Hei Tong was dumbfounded. His body was injured, and he almost fainted, recommending the urban guru Shi Xinshu.